All right, all right. I think we live. We are live. What is going on, everyone? Commodore Laz here, and welcome back to the newest edition, the next episode of Yap Piece. We are here today for some good old yapping, man. Talk about some greatness. I got a lot of things I want to discuss. I won't be alone for this one. I got a couple of mates that are going to be in here in a few seconds. I do want to talk with y'all for a bit before we do all that real quickly. Now, a couple things right now. Let me get the chat up, see if it's up on here. I see it there. I see it there. Let me just because I got some of the guys in there. One sec, one sec. Yeah. Anyways, I have to write a message real quick. But anyways, as you guys know, in the description, on the tweet and stuff that we put out and everything for it, we are going to be talking about what's been going on so far when it comes to Elbaph, God Valley, all that. Other topics and stuff may come to mind and stuff, but we also have predictions for 1163. My voice is a little bit shot, so I apologize if we're not talking properly or whatever right now, because like it's just been it's been a lot and stuff. We just let me actually show it to you guys anyways, because right now we got some good things that finally happened. In this household, when the team, if you support a team and they come in and they're supposed to be doing their job and they're supposed to be making you feel good, right? If you guys support a sports team, you know how the vibes are like, right? You know how the vibes are like, right? So it's only fitting that I show off the kit of a man that I was saying should have been off the field from the very moment we got into the dire straits in that second half, and he came in there and got me the assist and got me 3 points at Anfield, boys. Shout out to mi capitano, bro. I just had to get that out there, man. It's been a start to my day, man. We're on good terms right now, bro. But I appreciate y'all coming through right now. I see ZK is in here. What's going on? Yo, new haircut. Hey, bro, listen. Your boy had to get fly. There was no way I was gonna stream again until I got my haircut and stuff, bro. But yeah, we're looking good right now. We're gonna jump into the VC in sec with the guests that we have that we'll be talking about again with God Valley, flashback and stuff. Predictions for 1163. If there's any topics that you guys would like to have discussed, let me know in the chat. If you want to get an immediate answer to your questions, there's a donation button. You want to make it quicker, by all means. But yeah, let me get my headphones. Let's get into this, man. Edens, by the way, if you're I know you're in the server, just jump into any one of the channels. I'll drag you in afterwards because I know we want to try to get discussions in with you, especially, bro. So just jump in at any point and I got you. So let me switch screens real quickly. 1 second, 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, how you feeling about your Raptors? Edens, we're going to the playoffs, boy. We're going to the playoffs. And I have a certain individual I'm going to talk to in just a second that feels otherwise. But let me just do this. Let me find. Where are we? Okay. So yeah, so I'm in there right now. Yeah, so let me get these guys to come into here and then we can go straight into it. So 1 second though. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all coming through again. I know it was like kind of last second and stuff. We were trying to do this on Friday. It wasn't able to happen, but we figured things out with the time and stuff, and we're here, bro. So yeah. But yeah, if you yeah, Eden, so just let me know when you're into one of the things, and I can set you up afterwards. Uh, hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it's gonna be a good stream. I'm glad to miss it. No facts though, bro. I appreciate you coming through, Stonks. I mean, listen, it's been a while since I've been able to do one of these, man. Like you already know, I want to be able to do more discussions and stuff and talk about things that are going on when it comes to One Piece and everything, bro. But it's been so difficult trying to find the time and stuff. But hold on 1 second. Let me see. Is that my boy Kev? Is that my boy Kev?
It is indeed.
My
It is
dog. That also,
Lies.
my boy, bro. By the way, Chad, let me know how everyone's voices sound and stuff if you guys can hear it. I gotta adjust audio here and there and stuff. But Kev, what's going on, brother?
I'm having an absolutely fantastic weekend. Unfortunately, no One Piece this weekend, but
Yeah.
get to talk about to quote a certain someone, the best-selling manga in history. To quote a
No,
certain someone.
absolutely, absolutely, brother. You already know, man. I mean, the series, we've been going crazy for a minute, though. I'll tell you that right now, man. Like this flashback, just the arc in general, has just been absolutely crazy. By the way, Kev, I don't know if you have your camera on, because then I can actually like do the placements and stuff for everybody in afterwards. Yeah, because it'll make it a little bit easier to switch my screen after, so everyone knows kind of like who's in the call and stuff after. Oh, hold on a sec. Is I see the sake. And I got a bone to pick with him though. This is my boy. What's going on, Dak? What's going on?
What's up, boys? How
What's
we doing?
going on, brother? We're good. We're good, man. We're ready to talk about some Gold Piece, brother, and possibly some basketball potentially. So,
dude, I came for both of those. I'm ready. I'm prepared.
absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Let me know when you guys have all your cameras on, because then I can actually set up the thing after. Because I'm gonna set up my camera set up on Streamlabs just so way I can be able to adjust it for whenever people jump in the call after. Okay, I see it.
Right
Okay,
on.
I see, I
Yep.
see, I see, I see. One sec, hold on. Let me. Where's my minimizer? There it is. Wait, wait, wait. Oh my god, this is actually perfect. Yeah, let me just actually maximize that. That's actually even better. Oh my god, I don't know why I didn't think about doing this like ages ago. That's crazy. I love doing
Yeah.
this on the fly, man. My boys, what's going on? What's going on, bro? What's going on, guys?
Big
Oh my god, yeah,
easy.
we here, man. We are here, bro. Listen, yo. First and foremost, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. I know it's like last second. We're trying to like I'm trying to plan this all stuff off, but you know how life be, man. Anytime that we want to get in the kitchen and talk, unfortunately, the kitchen sometimes decides it's gonna close at a random time. But I appreciate y'all coming through, guys. If you don't know, Kev the OG, we have had on the channel before. Talked about the download on greatness. Won't be the last time we talk about that too, especially with the recent events going on. Dak, you already know, man. Talked about the greatness of Rouge. You haven't seen that discussion, definitely go check it out. And especially go check out his other channels as well, because he talks about a lot of great stuff with One Piece. One of my favorites out there right now. Definitely go support him, man. But yeah, guys, as I was telling chat earlier today for you two as well, we are going to be talking about what's been going on with Elbaph, the God Valley flashback. Obviously, it's been a little time tax since we've last talked about it, Kev as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured this would be a good kind of rest point time right now in the arc to discuss what's been going on, our thoughts on it so far, and then basically predictions for 1163, and then basically where we see kind of things panning out afterwards in due time. And any other questions, anything that might come up from the chat and stuff, we'll take into consideration. But if chat does want to, get a quick answer out of all of us, there's a $sign button, but I'm not going to talk too much on that.
Yeah,
but
if the chat wants to hear
just
NBA,
you know what I'm
if the
saying,
chat
man.
wants to know about our NBA season predictions, you go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll take every excuse to talk about that in the future of the Raptors and the Cavs and the Sixers. Actually, all of our teams have some interesting futures here.
No,
I
absolutely,
will
man.
say the Sixers' future. I want one of those black and red jerseys so bad, bro. But I've set up this joke like for like a year plus about my man Guershon Yabusele.
Oh,
I've
one of the
set up
best names.
I've set up, yeah. And I was like, I know this man, and I can't believe he somehow made it on the Sixers. And I needed the black and red Guershon Yabusele jersey, but they aren't selling it. It's just like the
Well,
big league player. And I'm like, why? Why?
well, well. You know what's funny too is Yabusele is not even on the Sixers anymore.
I know.
Oh, for
The
real?
bit is dead. The bit
He's
is
on the
dead.
Knicks now.
Ah, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense now.
I
Yeah.
knew I'd be able to get us into some basketball discussion quickly. I knew
Yeah.
I knew it would happen.
It's best to get it out the way now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
hold on, let me just put this in here for the title and stuff and everything. But yeah, man. So I mean, like honestly, I mean, we're gonna get into it and stuff, but like how you guys been feeling so far with this flashback? I mean, there's been a lot of talk and discussion about, it's not been done yet by any means, but I think there's a case you can make. This is probably gonna be one of the most memorable, if not possibly the best flashback in the series until told otherwise. We have some stuff still to come afterwards. But just your general thoughts, just basically like it doesn't matter. You just jump in at any point, say anything you want to say. But how are we feeling so far about Elbaph so far the arc, but also with the God Valley flashback?
I feel like it's very interesting that like Emu showed up and then we immediately ducked over to this flashback. So it's like we paused the arc like in the craziest moment, and so I think that's really interesting. So I think you picked a good time to kind of talk about it because it's
Hmm.
like obviously the flashback's going on, but Elbaph itself has paused, so it's like we can kind of talk about what's going to happen whenever this is done. But as for the flashback itself, I mean it's definitely one of my favorite flashbacks. Like I there's so many good ones, it's hard to rank them, but I don't remember being as like attached or like enthralled by a flashback for a long time. Like maybe Odin's, but like this, I mean, Rocks is just crazy, man. Now we're at God Valley. Like this might be my favorite one by the time we're
Hmm.
done.
Yeah, Kev, how about you?
He's so cool. He's so like effortlessly cool. He's so
Wait,
cool.
specify who is cool.
Like everyone.
Oh,
Everyone is
hey,
cool.
we'll take it, bro.
But no, I feel like seriously seeing like all the stuff we're seeing it's like fan fiction. And I say this
Hmm.
very lovingly. It's like fan fiction. It reminds me of when I was reading like the Odin flashback before like while I was catching up. It was like this is not real. Like this is not a real
It
thing I'm
doesn't,
seeing.
yeah.
But this is like to such an extreme where it's like, oh my god, Rox is actually Blackbeard's dad, which is
Yeah.
obviously a theory lots of people had, but like
Hmm.
it actually is true. And like I don't know, just seeing so much of this stuff is just it's crazy. Like seeing Garp and Roger and Rox actually fighting possibly and the fact that the last chapter just ended and now Emu's here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Like that's actually crazy. And it's not just Oda does this thing that I'm very impressed with all the time. And Dak, you brought it up earlier. Like we cut away from Emu right at the time where it's like, okay, this is the big deal thing. But Oda is really great with like knowing when to set something up and then have it come back later. And I felt like having Dorian Broggie have the Domi Reversi happen and then having Rox's family have that same exact thing happen. So we didn't even need
Yeah.
to know that explanation. It's just like, oh my god, now we see like we know Emu's here just from that alone, if that makes sense. Yeah, stuff
Hold
like that.
on. We got an invasion real quick. Hold on, because I did tell him to jump in if
We
he
just
can
pulled
through
up.
his phone possibly. But the trails have you. There's only one person,
Oh.
bro. There's only one person. Introduce
Yo.
yourself, sir.
Yo, hold on. First and foremost, shout out to Glory Man United, baby.
Facts,
Let's
bro.
live it
Facts,
good.
bro. We start on a good note. We start on a good note. Recon, brother. How are you, man?
But man, yo, who's in there, bro? Shout out to the brothers. Wait a
Bro,
minute.
hey,
I
man,
thought it was just gonna be you and me, bro. Let's go.
Hey, bro,
Shout
we
out
got
to
a
the
squad.
boys.
We got a squad, bro. We got a squad.
Yeah, we
man.
got the whole squad today, man. Coach,
We got a
Love to
welcome.
see
squad,
it.
bro.
We love to see it, man. It's
Glad
good.
to
It's
hear
good to
from
see
you.
y'all, man.
For
Yes,
sure.
Yeah,
sir.
for sure, bro. Bro, I appreciate you coming through, Recon. Literally, I had we were trying to figure out see if we can get you in and stuff at some points, and obviously now that I have you in here, bro, I really really appreciate it, bro.
Of course.
But yeah, man, dude. So basically, what we're just gonna be talking about is like the Godflight flashback, how we feel so far about it. Obviously, Elbaph as a whole, predictions for 1163, and any topics, any questions that the chat wants to ask Kev, Dak, or even for Recon, myself. Please let us know if you have something that's immediate, like you're just like, yo, I need this answered. There's a $sign button. You don't know what I don't gotta tell you what I don't gotta tell you what it does, but you already know. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're on. So I mean, Recon, since you're in there now, man, I mean, just speak your piece, bro.
Rox is my goat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like God Valley has been I was telling my cousin that it feels like Marineford in the past, like we're experiencing the original Marineford where all the top tiers, all the legends got in one area. And because of the context that we have now, I understand why Oda held off on not showing this off for so long, because we wouldn't have understood a lot of this stuff. Like pre-Domi Reversi, we wouldn't have understood the Emu and Saturn stuff. We wouldn't have understood why Rox, would have been so important in this particular case because of the Loki situation, because of the Herald situation. Like I understand now why he held off for so long. But I'll tell you what, bro, these last what has it been? 10 chapters, man. This is going down in the Lev. You know what I'm saying? Hang this in the Lover. This is some beautiful, beautiful stuff, man. I mean, from the reveals to both the hype moments and the really special character moments. Like I've loved, for example, what Oda's done with Monkey D. Dragon in this flashback. Really allowing us to see how he moved even when he didn't have his abilities, which just goes to show the type of individual that he is. And it's done so much for somebody like Dragon, and at the same time giving us super hype stuff with someone like Rox, who has really beautiful character moments while at the same time having awesome fight moments. And so it's just been the best of both worlds. We have Romance Piece, which is the greatest stuff ever with like the Shaki Marine and stuff. Yeah. So it's just been a ton of fun, man. I've been having a blast reading each chapter, and I have no idea what's in store now that Emu has arrived. It's kind of scary. It's really spooky. Yeah, spooky stuff's on the horizon.
It's kind of crazy. We've had Emu pull up and transform twice in 12 chapters now.
Right? Yes,
like,
I know.
Like that's actually insane. Like it's crazy to think that it was only 12 chapters ago we saw Emu pull up and do Domi Reversi, and now we're here in God Valley seeing it happen again. And Recon, you and I talked about this a little bit in a different context, but Oda does this sometimes where he's like, I got to show you this before, like I got to show you part A before I show you part B, kind of thing.
Right.
So like with God Valley, he's like, well, I want to show you Emu pull up to Elbaph, and then show you Domi Reversi, and show you this, because then God Valley will make more sense. And so what I'm wondering now, because this is what you and I talked about, Recon, is like, how does what's happening now help us explain what's happening in the Holy Land right now? Because I think
Right.
there's a similar thing there where
Agreed.
there's probably stuff happening now that Oda's trickling the info. So whenever we get to the Holy Land, we're like our minds are blown because we fully understand the context of why whoever's there doing whatever. It's like now we
Agreed.
understand why that person went and why they're doing what they're doing and all that. So
Agreed.
yeah, I don't know what's
Yeah.
coming next, but Oda's cooking.
Agreed, man. Like that. Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Just off of the recent like 3 chapters, my excitement for the future of Blackbeard in the story has escalated like 15-fold.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because there's so much, there's a lot of motivation now for the character to want to
Yes.
topple the world. To like, we go back to that panel with Von Augur whenever he said the world, that has a completely different context now after the last chapter, right? So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's stuff like that, and if he really is the one invading the Holy Land right now, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense, and it would be so awesome to see in the present time, especially depending on how Rox's character culminates here.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I think with all of us, we're kind of in agreement at one point that, like, it was a 50-50 split. It was either going to be the Revs that were going to pull up or potentially it was going to be Blackbeard. And obviously just because the fact that we hadn't seen for a while what was going on with Blackbeard. But I think now after this flashback, I think we could almost say, like, if that happens, it will probably be one of the most hype moments in the entire story. Because it's like,
Absolutely.
because it depends, like, we're going to talk about it and stuff, like, depending on what your feelings are, like, regarding this. But, like, I'm of the belief that the fight with Emu and Luffy is going to be halted because Teach is going to pull up like Sabak at Mary Joie, and then we're going to see the two of them tango potentially. Either if it's not either the Mary Joie on the Red Line, I don't know, Van Auger's going to use the warp and move them somewhere else. I don't know how it's going to go, but I just think if that happens, that would be such a chaotic way to possibly either end this year or go into next year, because it does feel like we're going to have a little bit more time. Whatever's happening in God Valley, we still have the Herald stuff. Like, people think that this is like, that's it after God Valley. It's okay, we're back to Elbaph. No. We still got Herald to see. We still got to see, bro, Loki and Lola. Oh my god, that's the whole thing. It's like, this is, you know what? This is the greatest little detour we've ever had to go through in One Piece. And like, we can't complain about this, bro. Because we wanted to see God Valley for like the longest of times. Like, I had thought that we were gonna probably see it a little bit later because there's a right time and place, but this is the right time and place. This is like beyond perfect. So, I mean, obviously, we have feel about the arc. Obviously, right now we have things that are gonna be coming up that we'll probably see after from God Valley. But God Valley itself, right now, I mean, when you're seeing all this stuff unfold, guys, did you imagine it was gonna be in the manner that Oda's doing these things? Because, like, I thought, like, if we're gonna be seeing this stuff, we're like, it's gonna be a little parts here and there. We might get like someone else's point of view, but the fact that we're getting the amount of stuff that we're getting right now is just still astonishing to me. So, like, how are we feeling right now about it?
Kev, bro, I'm about to say, I wanted to hear your thoughts, bro. I feel like I haven't spoken to you in a minute, man. What's good?
It's been a while. Becoming a Sunday person has made it a bit harder to talk to you guys. But, moments like this is when the cooks are in the kitchen.
That's right.
The kitchen, as Laz was saying earlier.
But facts.
I think the thing none of us expected was Shocky to be nearly as important as she is.
Oh, yeah, bro. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, like, this stuff is it's really sweet. Like, the stuff with her and Rayleigh, it's really cute and sweet. And I like the whole, like, because I don't know how people are interpreting it, but it gives me, like Trojan War. She's like the Helen of Troy vibes. Like, that's kind of what I was feeling throughout it. And I don't know, it's really cool. It's really cool. And I think a lot of us also didn't really expect, like, Elbaph to be nearly as important with Harold and all that. We still don't know if he's gonna come. I think we assume he will to God Valley at this point. But I don't know. It's just interesting how he's managing to get, like, the present stuff we are doing right at the moment and having it be filled with all this stuff from, like, hundreds of chapters of lore and build up and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I do have a, like, because I also thought this is going to be like when we're fighting Emu, we're going to learn more about this probably, right? But now, so this is going to, stupid theory incoming. This is just, I thought about it.
There's no bad theories. There's no bad theories.
I was about to say.
There's no bad theories.
All right. With how important Lucia is now in the story, with Blackbeard's mom probably being from there or something like that, with Blackbeard visiting it in the cover story where Ace is looking for him, Joy Boy might just be from this place at this point. Like, because why is this place so important? Why is Lucia so important at this point? because
Yeah.
it's crazy. It just keeps building and building up, and I'm just like, it's got to be more important than this. If Blackbeard's dad and mom are like, we're gonna meet at this place,
Yeah.
so
And
So-
Moda's from there, right, Kev?
Right.
So
That's right.
Mo to the
Yes,
milk case.
facts.
Mo to
Yeah.
the milk case.
Shout
It
out
all
to the
comes back
milk,
Mo
man.
to the
Shout out to the
milk
milk.
case. That's what I'm saying.
So Kev, I got a question to ask then. If Joy Boy is from Lucia, then is Davy Jones legitimately from God Valley? Then, like the whole Davy clan descends from
Yeah,
God Valley.
because I saw some
I
people
would-
even saying too that idea that Joy Boy might have been from God Valley, just because when you think about the name of itself, the way the island's all built, it's like it just can't just be there just for something, right? But the Davy clan now being introduced in that, it's like you would know like the
Mhm.
clan of D has some kind of huge ties to that, especially knowing how important the Davy D Jones and all that. Like, guys, the fact that Davy D Jones is an actual thing in One Piece, like you know
That's
how
a thing,
mad that
brother.
is? Like every chapter I pass by, that's still like in my mind. It's like, yeah, it's a real thing. Like, bro, oh my
Mhm.
god, man. But sorry to derail into that. But
No, I feel it.
I'll see. Now this is the weird part. Now I had a thought and it was gone right there. No, I can't remember now. But yeah, just like in regards to like all the stuff that's happening right now in God Valley, like, we have like the stuff that's going on with like Rox and Roger and Garp. Looks like now they're about to get this tag team going on against this Emu Saturn like link up. Do you think it's just gonna stay between them, or do you think that the Gorosei kind of pulled up? Because I feel like Egghead in some ways, because we saw the Gorosei pulled up, I don't think anybody expected that was gonna happen. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that was to come into the mix and they realize, okay, these three are just a little bit too much for us, and then that's where they kind of like jump in to kind of like even the odds, and that's where I guess we see what happens after with Rocks. But you let me know what you guys think.
I think my question for your question is:
Okay.
do we think Emu was the one that Domi reversed the people that Rock spot
I
before
think
Emu
so.
pulled up?
I believe so.
You
Firmly
think Emu's the
believe
one that did it?
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Okay,
firmly believe that.
if Emu's the one that did it, I'd say that it is very plausible the rest of the Godosei show up too.
Mhm.
The only reason why I bring that up is because if it wasn't Emu, then whoever that is also going to join their alliance or
Yeah.
Survivor Series team or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah. Mind
Where-
games.
right. Because that just struck me as very strange in the chapter. Because I remember when I wrestled Domi Reverse characters, I was like, wait, what? Did Emu already show up inside of Gluco's body? And then, of course, we saw when Emu actually showed up later. So my question is, can Emu Domi Reverse people from the Marijoa? And if Emu can, if Emu can do that, then why not just be like, okay, just like back in Egghead, put down the circles. Let's bring all the Gorosei down here as well, which would be nuts, by the way. No greater thing in the series up until this point would match up to Rox, Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, and Kaido, potentially in a panel against the Gorosei and Emu.
That would,
It would feel like
be-
rooftop V2, right? Like
Exactly.
roof-
It really
like-
would
but,
be.
but with the prior gen, right? Like
Yeah.
Exactly. Precisely.
that's the vibe I got with Whitebeard, Kaido, and Rox standing there. I'm
Mhm.
like, this feels like Roof Piece again, but Emu
Mhm.
is Kaido and Big Mom, and these three are the the five that were up there before from the
Agreed.
alliance. So like,
Mhm.
yeah. And also one other thing I wanted to mention is like if the other Gorosei do pull up, and if the Gorosei also merge with this Garcimu Saturn thing going on, so like they all
Mhm.
are like merged together. I feel like that's like a docking V2 idea. Like I think that might be what Oda's
Yeah.
going for because I felt a
Docking
lot of
dicks.
there's a lot of Thriller Bark and Moria parallels and stuff just going on right now. And I mean, we all talked about, or what? There's been a theory for a long time that maybe God or Thriller Bark is a chunk of God Valley. So there's been a lot of stuff there where like if Emu's gonna pull up and merge with all the other Gorosei to be like a docking situation, that would make sense to do it on the same chunk of land that we talked about docking on the first time, right? Because
Yeah.
it was
Mhm.
brought up in Thriller Bark. So
Is that Emu's true form? All five of Gorosei together, and him.
maybe.
Hmm.
And is that the Thriller Bark monster? That's my next.
See, because
Yeah,
that's the
bro,
thing.
right?
Because that has to be answered at
The
some point in
scary
time.
triangle.
There's no way we end
Yeah.
this story if we don't get that, bro. Listen, give
Yeah,
it to me in SBS. I'll be fine with it. But it's like I need to know, man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's so weird because it's like the reason I bring up the thing with the girls say because I just feel like if you want to take it up the ante and make it crazier than it already is, I feel like the girls say should be here. But the fact that the focus has only been solely on Saturn this entire time makes me think, okay, maybe not. But it's like if you want to take this to really the extremes, I think you just got to have everybody that's there. I wouldn't be angry if they weren't there, but like I just feel like if you want to make it that crazy, they would have to definitely show
Yeah.
up. But it does make me wonder some stuff a little bit because I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure I talked with Recon about this. I don't know if it's all with you and Dak and Kev. But the whole thing with how we perceive how Rox is going to die. Some people think that he was betrayed by his crew. I think that could be thrown out the window after the recent chapter based on the way how Whitebeard, Kaido, and all of them came together and stuff. It doesn't feel like that was the way he went out, but there's still things there, whether he was backstabbed during the fight by somebody. It was kind of one of those scenarios where there wasn't fairness in the fights, even though we're pirates. It doesn't, fairness doesn't exist in those kind of things. Um, Almost lost my thought for a sec. But the thing is, like, I had always been to imagine of Blackbeard and his dad were gonna have that moment or whatever. Something was gonna happen, but as we saw, Blackbeard's out the way. Ennis is out the way too now, so we're not gonna see like whatever happens here now. I think we're like it really depends for me like what we think is gonna end up happening now with Rocks because like I feel like now Otis has made that scenario so unclear now, and I think it's a good thing because like if we all predicted how it was gonna happen, then it's like we're just waiting for the inevitable. But this is like the most clouded I think now we can be on what exactly the circumstances happen with Rocks because we were told one thing about Sengoku and stuff. I think now there's some stuff there that probably doesn't make sense because we're hearing from one perspective versus who was actually like in the thick of the woods and saw it happen. So, uh, based on what we're seeing right now, what do you guys think is going to end up going down with Rocks? Do you think that he gets backstabbed? Do you think that he goes out on a fair limb? Like, what do you think is going on?
Probably gets Domi reversied, I feel like.
Yeah,
Because then like you go back to like the betrayal thing. It's like he's not really getting betrayed, but his crew still might have taken him out, right?
yeah,
In a
yeah,
way. And I think that might be the story. Another fun idea is like maybe other people get Domi reversied and Rox is like debating like, do I fight my crew now or do I just let them take me out? Like, what
yeah,
do I do? What's the right thing? I think that might be even more fun. Like that would be more fun from like a deeper like analytical sense, like an emotional sense. But I think from like a hype perspective, it might be cooler to have Rox be the one who gets
yeah,
reversied. But I think somebody's getting turned here at some point.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that's really interesting. 'Cause I never thought of the idea until you brought it up because Sengoku's not even there, I'm pretty certain.
yeah.
Because we
I think
saw
he's just on
him
a
on the
dented
Mhm.
phone
bushy.
with
Yeah,
Garp.
yeah, yeah,
So if someone does get Domi reversied, that would be really cool because they're already covering up Rocks so much, like in modern times. They're covering him up. Him saying like, "Oh, his crew attacked him." That's just a great way to cover up that even more if it is like Emu's ability. So I really like that. I still think it's definitely possible for the crew to just betray him anyway. We've kind of already seen this with like Wang Ji. We've kind of already seen that with him
Mhm.
being a bit of a
yeah,
scumbag. But there's no chance in the
yeah.
world Wang Ji is gonna kill Rocks. There's no chance. He's
No,
he's a bum compared to
Right.
him.
yeah.
He's
He's
not
not
even on the
So
island.
he's not gonna try no Squardo
yeah,
stuff that we saw in Marineford. And if he did, I think Rocks would blow him right there, bro. Like, to be honest.
exactly. But it's very interesting. I I like the Domi Reversi idea. I actually prefer the because it would be hype to see evil rocks but
Right.
Yeah,
evil,
yeah,
But like I feel like having other characters turn into it because there's already so many others that are on the out like Captain John. Maybe that's why he died. He got Domi Reversi'd or
right.
like Gonzui, like
That would
stuff
make a lot of
characters
sense, actually. Yeah,
that were dead on Thriller Bark are probably gonna die right here because they get Domi Reversi'd, and then they get taken out by Rocks or something. And while Rocks is you know, taking out his crewmates and all that, that's when someone gets him. At least
Mhm.
that's thought I had at
Okay,
least.
okay, okay. I can see that. Then I mean, there's so many things I could see happen too with that. But with Rocks, I'm very curious on one thing, right? Because we haven't seen it yet from his character. We do know he's in pursuit of two things: devil fruits. One that we know belong to Elbaph. One apparently that may have to be on God Valley, but we don't know if he actually has a devil fruit on him right now. So if he does have a devil fruit, what's your speculation on what you think it is? Because I know like an easy one people will say is that he has the Yami Yami no Mi. But I think if he had it, we probably would have already saw something with it. So do you think he has adult fruits or he's just all rawness and swag?
I personally don't think he has one. Because he said he was like looking for the two, and we never saw any kind of confirmation that he got one. And I feel like he's like waiting to find one of them, or maybe he also has a weird body so he can eat two as well. But since
Mm.
he brought that up and we haven't seen it, I don't think he has. But I could see a fun situation where like one of the prizes is one of the fruits that he wants, and maybe he eats it soon, and maybe there's like a false awakening thing. Maybe that's what, instead of Domi Reversi, maybe Rox like, eats his own fruit that like his will doesn't fit right with, and then he starts rampaging or something like that. But I don't think he has one now. And I also, as far as like the Yami Yami no Mi goes, or really any other devil fruit that we've seen extensively, I feel like there's so many people that we've met who were were on Rox's crew. I feel like Whitebeard should have noticed that Blackbeard, was like, oh, you're going after the same power Rox had. Like,
Yeah.
he should have made some comment. It's the same thing about I mean, there's like just a lot of fruits. Like people have brought up maybe Buggy's fruit, maybe Rox had that one. Same thing. Like Whitebeard knows very well, who that Buggy would have had that. You think somebody at some point would have brought it up because like Buggy was at Marineford, and I don't know. There's just a lot of lot of times where somebody should have said it. So I'm thinking he doesn't have one.
Okay.
That's definitely understandable. I feel like he also doesn't have one to contrast with Blackbeard. I think what
Yeah.
Oda's been doing with Rox and Garling is really interesting because Rox is like, I think none of us expected him to be as like heroic as he
Yeah.
is. He seems like a genuinely like pretty okay guy. Obviously he's, you know, a pirate, but like he
Yeah.
seems like
Cut
not
down
like
cut down a child
horrible.
twice, but
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like
Yeah. It's
horrible. You know what I'm saying?
because I
There's
want to say
like,
he's like maybe chaotic neutral.
yeah, that's
I
like
think that's the best way to
I
describe him.
wouldn't consider him evil, which is
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely less evil than I expected, but Garling is like 100% evil. Like he is detestable in
Unforgivable.
every way.
Like,
And it's cool because Oda's obviously like, I think he's doing this intentionally to show like, all right, these are the parents of Blackbeard and Shanks. Blackbeard and Shanks are like, the opposite. Shanks is like the ultimate good guy, and Blackbeard's also like the chaotic guy,
right.
but like not like no, he's pretty evil still. But you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
of
Like
course, of course, of course.
there's
Yeah.
meant to be some kind of like look at these two, see what they were like and what they, you know what I mean? Um,
Yep.
but I think it's definitely meant to be like he's just not gonna have a fruit because like kind of what Dak was saying, he was looking for his fruit, and Blackbeard, he did the same thing. He kept looking for it and eventually he found it. So that's what I'm leaning to, him not having one at the moment at least. I like the false awakening idea too, because
Mhm.
Blackbeard's last thing he's looking for is, of course, a Zoan fruit. So
Yeah.
it'd be really cool to set that up, and then
Yeah.
him eventually getting his father's fruit. That would be very satisfying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think even too, like if you wanted to add into that stuff with Blackbeard and the pursuits of at the time with the Yami Yami Nomi and everything, I think that might have been the probably the earliest indicator of what Rox was probably going after this entire time. Just to play it like as a simple thing where it's like, if my dad wanted his fruit because of reasons X, Y, and Z, and whether he found out through notes that his dad left behind or he just knew for himself, I need this to conquer or get what I want after. And, especially going back to Divine Augur and Devon stuff, going back to Egghead with the whole, like, the world and everything. It's like Blackbeard is very aware of what that is. Right. So it's like, that's why
Mhm.
I'm now more of the belief, more it's him rather than the Revs pulling up at Mary Joie. Recon,
Yeah.
you want to speak on that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's my bad, Dak. You go.
I was just gonna say real quick. I think it like kind of like we were talking or I mentioned earlier because King Recon and I talked about this. It might be like the Revs and Blackbeard and maybe Shanks all end up in Marijois somehow because
Mhm.
they're kind of the epicenter of this flashback a little bit in terms of like how their fates are all connected to the same point, right?
100%.
And maybe that's it now where it's like Oda's gonna show like the culmination of it, like everyone's getting revenge in quotes for like what happened back then in their own way, or like
Yeah.
they're settling the score from God Valley in a way. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I think it might be all of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, in terms of the present time, listen, because let's look at it right from that perspective. Blackbeard obviously going after the world. Shanks is chasing after Blackbeard. The Revs waited for the Holy Knights to move. Holy Knights have moved. If Blackbeard is truly up there and Shanks follows them up there, then we have the Shanks family shenanigans. We have the Blackbeard and Rox connection, obviously connects then him to Emu. And then based on last chapter, with how it showed in parallel, Dragon carrying Shanks and Eris carrying Blackbeard, their fates are always going to be connected. And so it's like, if it is all three in the present time, also within the Holy Land, it would then go into what I think is going to happen here. Because I heard you guys talking about the rocks culmination, and I think that connects also to the fruit situation. Because I do think he doesn't have a fruit, and I think this is where Kaido sort of gets the hockey above all type of mentality based on seeing what Rocks does in the situation. But I think in terms of the character's culmination here, I definitely do think, like I was telling Dak a few weeks ago, that this is going to be the moment where Rock's going to have his like final, like, all right, Whitebeard had his final speech, Roger had his final speech. Now Rocks is to have a final epic speech.
For sure,
and I think that final epic speech, somewhere in there, he's going to mention both of the fruits he's looking for, which in my honest opinion are the Yami Yami fruit and the Nika fruit.
I agree.
So if he's looking for both of those, and he mentions those to Emu, saying, one day I'm not going to be the one to do it, but one day the individuals that will take you down are going to come with both the Yami and the Nika fruit, it would connect to the present time, where if Blackbeard truly is pulling up to the Holy Land, Emu would have to deal with himself being in Gunko's body, fighting Nika, and then the real Emu back in the Holy Land fighting Blackbeard.
Yeah,
so Rox's prophecy would come into fruition, right? So it's that's definitely something that I think would be super dope to have Rox's intentions be laid at the forefront in his final speech for us to find out the truth about his two fruits that he's looking for. Obviously, he's not going to have a fruit, but all of that bringing us in then back into the present time, because like you guys talked about earlier, there has to be something that this flashback has that then ties us back into the present time in multiple different ways. And we're already seeing that with Shanks and with Dragon and with Blackbeard and all of that potentially happening in the Holy Land, but also the present stuff in Elbaph too. So and if Rox's speech brings all that together, we're in for some peak, man.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that speech is gonna be something crazy. Like, it's gotta be somewhere on the level of the Whitebeard stuff, where, like, because they were talking about the fact of him knowing about the taboos and stuff of the world. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he says some stuff where it's like you hear it and you're just looking around like, yo, am I supposed to be hearing this stuff? Like, it's almost like with the Vegapunk speech, I think is a better way to put it, because the Vegapunk one, it's like for a random guy who's just going to his 9 to 5 is just hearing about, like, the world's just going up 2 meters every time. You know how crazy that sounds? So just like as a civilian just hearing that. So imagine like what Rocks. That's the one thing I'm very interested in, like the fact that we haven't seen, like, nobody's trying to broadcast this back in the day. Now, granted, they probably didn't have the telecom of the snails and stuff to be able to do all that stuff, but it's just kind of crazy that we're going to be the ones that gets that information, and everyone else that knows it's going to be broken telephone. Before Recon, let you continue there, because I got a donation in from my boy Lazy Mofos with the 444. Shout out to him. That was probably Jay-Z reference there, but definitely watching later. Shout out to the Go Cast. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the donation, Lazy Mofos. Good dude, man.
My guy.
But Recon, continue on that, man. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh no, that's all good. The only thing I was going to say was the reason why they didn't see that is because they were still in the territory days. Vince hadn't taken over yet.
That's crazy. No TV, no radio, no nothing, bro.
It was all house shows.
And to be honest, though, it does make sense even too why Sengoku was relaying certain stuff to the Marines, everything, because he's hearing from people that probably manipulated certain information that was going on during then. So. Yeah, I mean, that's, So, I mean, it would have been crazy if they had a transponder snail just there for the live broadcast, but oh my God, the numbers it would have done on pay-per-view.
Oh,
that would have been special. That would have been special stuff, man.
And the thing is, right, like on a serious note, I don't know who's there to hear Rox's final words. Like, to me, I think the audience more than likely is going to be Harold and Emu, and everyone else is already gone at that point. Whatever happens with Kaido and Whitebeard is going to lead into all of those hints of what Kaido talked about in regards to betrayal. I don't think it's going to be a direct betrayal. I think it's going to be Kaido regretting and feeling guilty about the fact that he couldn't have done more. Yeah. I think that's more so the betrayal I think that he was referring to back in Wano. And so we're going to see that play out with the rest of the Rocks Pirates having to retreat. Roger, obviously, and Rayleigh and them, they're going to take care of Shanks after this. So we know that they have to meet Dragon eventually. So no one's going to be there. And the only ones that hear these final words, I'm going to assume, are if Harold shows up, he has to be there to hear them. And Emu for sure is going to hear them. So it's like, can you imagine only those three being the final audience of God Valley before it blows up? It's like, oh man, crazy stuff, and obviously it'll be really important for the current stuff that'll happen after then with Harold and Loki and everything and how the world changes there, but also for Emu in the present time, having that information against Blackbeard and or Luffy. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
I wanted to make mention this because I mean you just brought it up right now regarding Harold. It's kind of interesting that we haven't seen him yet show up on the island. Obviously, we know last time we saw him, there was the attack with him and Zabak from their talk about letting him know what was going on in God Valley and all that. But I do feel like he's got to be due at some point to see that to kind of make sense, I guess, from a narration standpoint, how Loki is the one that is all this is coming from, right?
Right.
And how does Loki know this? Did he talk to Harold? Did he sneak on the
Mosa.
boat? And Mosa too, possibly,
yeah.
right? There's a whole bunch of things with that. But I would imagine like Harold's got to be showing up at least like real soon. I wouldn't be surprised by next chapter. There's like an inkling of him like getting close to the island, and I feel like the closer and closer he gets to actually being at the scene of the crime is when we get Rox's death.
I
Like,
agree.
what do you make of that?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, just dude, this like I still can't believe this flashback's even happened in the first place. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy stuff, dude. But you know, speaking into Kaido, because I know this has been a topic that's been coming up quite often within the community. You know, regarding whether he's this great antagonist and such, or his character and everything that's there. I don't know if like Zach, have you been seeing it, Kev? But it just a lot of people have been speculating whether or not if this flashback has done any good for the characterization for Kaido, considering how a lot of lingering feelings have been about his character since the end of Wano. You know, how he was portrayed at the start, where things went in the middle to the end, kind of like his flashback, how it was portrayed. Um, has this in any way, this flashback changed your viewing on Kaido from what Oda has depicted and showcased?
I think it's just finishing the pieces of the puzzle, right? Because it was an unfinished puzzle at the end of Wano, and so now what we're getting is the final pieces of Kaido's puzzle before either we get a true conclusion to how we feel about this character after all those puzzle pieces have been put together, or B, it's going to set up his eventual return at the end of the story during the final saga. It's going to be one of two things. This, rather than change, I would say these chapters remind me why I love Kaido, which is that this dude is, number one, he's hilarious, but number two, he does fit a sort of role that no other One Piece villain does. He is the Brock Lesnar of the verse, whereas whereas a lot of other villains within the series are, I love them for like the way that they execute either their plans or their charisma, right? Like Dofi with his charisma, Crocodile with his plans, Enel with both of them. You know, there's a lot of iconic villains in this series, and Katakuri with like the respect aspect of it. There's certain elements from all of them that I really enjoy that aren't really present within Kaido, because I feel like Kaido truly represents exactly what he said in his flashback chapter, which is, my boy just wanted to be the best. He wanted to be the strongest. And what we're seeing here is that playful attitude of whenever he got that fruit. And you see, oh man, look, I turned into a dragon. Like, we see that he is similar to Luffy in that regard, as we've always known about just a playful individual who got this abilities, like just wants to show it off because he thinks it's cool. And so that to me, I think, is just solidifying why it is that I find him so cool, not just as a villain, but also just as a character within the series, because he is very unique in that regard.
Okay.
As someone who really liked Kaido without him having a, so I'm just gonna say this one more time. People might think it's the Odin flashback and the Yamato flashback, but guess who was in both of them? Guess who was an integral character in both of these flashbacks? It got fleshed out immensely during both of them, right? It's the main antagonist of the arc, Kaido. They were also Kaido's flashback. Just because it wasn't called the Kaido flashback doesn't mean he doesn't have a flashback. Now, he obviously is getting more developed here, which is cool. I do like that we're seeing Kaido as more of this like fun Luffy-esque character, because I personally think all the Yonko have like that fun aspect to them, especially Big Mom, and now we're seeing it with Kaido as well. And since they were always like a duo, it's cool to see that. especially with them being pretty young in this flashback as well, seeing them rise up to be who they will be later on. I'm excited to see what's going to happen after Rox is gone, how they're going to react. Because we've already seen some things I feel like we didn't fully expect, like the way Kaido got his fruit. I feel like that was a big surprise for a lot of people.
Definitely.
Because when Big Mom said, I'm giving this to Katakuri, we instantly thought,
Yeah.
wow,
Hey,
Katakuri hybrid form, that would
yes.
be the rawest thing
Yeah.
ever. But
Oh man.
Regardless
it
of
was
the retconning
big
it might have done in terms of his age and stuff, because I remember seeing something where I think he was 5 when he got the Mochi Mochi no Mi, and he was like
Mhm.
10 during this whole
Yeah.
thing. So it's like, unless he can pull a Blackbeard, I mean, which would be insane.
Yeah.
A Mochi dragon, like, how crazy that actually
That
would
would've been
feel.
nuts.
Like, imagine
That
like,
would've been nuts.
yo, the top 30s that everyone does every year, never the same again if that can
Oh, yeah,
happen.
never,
Um,
bro.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're talking about too, Kev, with the thing with Kaido, I mean, it's kind of the same way how I'm feeling with Big Mom as well, where it's like, did I have my annoyances with mothering mode and the hunger pains, all that? Yeah, I did. But it's like, I think I've come to turn around on Big Mom. I think like just this flashback too, especially, has done a lot to kind of like maybe see her, I guess, in a different light. Just now, it's like we're actually seeing her out there hooping and just being a pirate and everything. But
Yeah.
I think the Kaido stuff is just like, and this is just for me and stuff, because it's like, what Recon was talking about, the Brock Lesnar thing, right? It's a guy that goes out there, destroys, conquers, and does all this stuff. I think just the fact of like the sneaking that he was doing with Odin when he bested him, what he got, how he got his fruit from Big Mom because he snuck her, like straight punch her in the face, and like even the stuff of what happened with Kinemon, because I do feel like that's like a thing like where you want to, like, when you're having these characters that are known for being forces of nature, destruction stuff, there has to be uh things like on the like on the path of destruction that is just there. And I feel like having that body count, I would say, of the people you've actually went and destroyed, at the very least, like when it comes to him being defeated by Luffy at the end, I would have been fine with that, because at least like he's shown that he can do those things. And maybe that's a thing on Oda where it's like I don't think him kind of holding back from actually killing people in ways can kind of like drive me nuts a little bit, because it's like you can't have a character that's out there who's been known for, you've been told by the narration he's killed people and stuff, whatever, but like again, no body, no death. I've always been a believer in that when it comes to
That's
Luffy.
right.
So
In
if
One
I don't
Piece.
see him actually crucifying, destroying people, it's like I can't say anything about that, right? So I don't know. I feel like this flashback will probably do a little bit more on the characterization part, which is not the issue, but him actually having like the accomplishments, the feats of like actually taking out people is kind of where I stand on that with Kaido. But like the whole thing about him just not being like a top 10 antagonist in One Piece, I mean, do you think that's something that we're begging on, or
Well, you know how I feel about it. I love Kaido, so he's definitely a top 5 antagonist for me. But like I said, it's mainly for how unique he is as an obstacle, right? Like this is the dude that stood to the point to where we're both wrestling fans. This man ran the gauntlet for like 3 Survivor Series teams, and was taken out by whether it be flipping Will Ospreay or Cody Rhodes at the end of it. But it was like the way that that was done was for me what made him feel super unique in that regard. Because like I said, the things that I love about NL, Dofi, Croc, Katakuri, even Big Mom, I love Kaido for very, very, very different reasons than I do those individuals. And I think just for that reason by itself, he has a place in my favorite One Piece villains list for sure.
Okay. Dak, Kev, do you feel any other way, or?
I was definitely someone who was disappointed by the end of the lack of Kaido's flashback, I should say. Like I like him as a character, but I was hoping to get just a little more backdrop. And I don't feel that much different from what we saw. I mean, I like what we've gotten so far in this like extra little, backdrop to Kaido. So I don't feel that different. But the one thing I will say is I do feel much stronger now that he is going to come back and we're going to get the full exposition. Like anything we miss, like how like we still don't know the real reason he picked Wano, right? He's like, I picked Wano because it's
right.
Wano, and then Higarashi's like she's the one who started it, but she didn't even really go into detail on like why he should pick that place. She just like brought up the idea. So like there's still some stuff we have to get from Kaido, and I wasn't worried necessarily, but I was starting to think like, is Oda really just never gonna touch on it and just leave it there? But now I feel pretty strongly that Kaido is gonna come back, and And if Harold really does show up to God Valley, this might be the perfect time for Kaido to maybe think like, oh, is that my dad?
Yeah.
He looks a lot like me. So there
Wouldn't
might
that be
be
something? Yeah.
That's
there
right.
might be some cool Kaido stuff still coming. So I'm excited for the future of Kaido is what I'll say for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Listen, in any story, in anything, when a former like major antagonist comes back into the picture, but he's on your side, it's always cool. I mean, it was cool in One Piece when
Mhm.
Crocodile joined our side, right? Like for Impel Down. But when if Kaido in the final war, like I presented this to King Lightning the other day, like just imagine him riding on Dragon Kaido as they're like going up to face Emu.
Yeah,
Like
that would
those are
be
visuals that are
nuts.
just cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Those are just
Yes.
dope. So I would just
It-
love to have those types of moments.
Bro, him
If
side by
that's
side
the
with
case.
Momo in their dragon forms, that would be kind of
What?
tough.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
that's
Come
gotta be
on,
tough.
man.
We need
That
it.
would be super
on.
tough. I'm not gonna lie.
We need it, brother. We need it.
Yo, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
and one thing I really like about like this idea of Luffy, riding Kaido or just getting all these other strong pirates on his side, which some
Mhm.
people might think is unrealistic or maybe takes away from the villains if they end up joining Luffy's side. But as you said, we've seen it plenty of times. And the thing for me, and I've actually been debating doing a video on this. I am going to do it. I just don't know when. Is like I think by the end of the story, we're going to look at the title of Pirate King a little bit different because right now
yeah.
it's like, oh, that's just whoever gets the One Piece, right? That's all we think of it, and that's true. That's all it is right now. But I think by the end, it's going to be like loosely accurate, where all the other pirates are going to listen to Luffy, the Pirate King, not because they're bowing down to him because they think he's awesome or whatever. It's going to be because he's going to be the savior of the planet, right? Like he's the chosen one, and I think they're going to learn over time, okay, like there's a bigger story here. This has been going on for 800 years. He's the one who has the right power to stop all this, whatever. They're going to understand he's special. And I think that's going to be it by the end. Where like if he's riding Kaido and maybe Big Mom's also next to him and stuff, and then the world government looks at that, they're like, dude, this guy, how does he get these people under his wing? Like how does he get these people to join his side? Which Mihawk said is Luffy's greatest power. So
Exactly.
So it's got. I think it's definitely happening.
I agree, and I think I'm so glad that you brought that up. That you brought that particular aspect of what could potentially happen here at the end, because it reminds me so much of what we're seeing right now with Whitebeard, Kaido, and Rocks. That now with this context, I genuinely believe the reason why Whitebeard stood next to Luffy and Marineford and decided to support him is not just because he reminded him of Roger. I think he reminded him of Rocks.
I agree.
And I think
Yeah.
Kaido's going to
Yep,
feel
yep.
the same way, which is why when he comes back into the story, he's going to serve a sort of similar role that Whitebeard did back in Marineford. Like, you know what? Whitebeard stood by this kid. I'm going to stick by him too. And plus he is the joy boy that he was waiting for. So it's that aspect of it. I would love to see a panel of like Kaido looking down and he sees Luffy, but then like he sees like rocks under it. And he's like, yeah, he reminds me of my captain, man. Like I gotta help him. You know what I'm saying?
That would be so
What I
cool,
want
bro.
is just real quick. I'll say I hope
Mhm.
Luffy says something. You know how Luffy has the same second dream as Roger, and that's like the
Yeah.
ultimate sign that they're the same. I hope Luffy says something that Rocks used to say, and then that's like Kaido's final sign of like, okay,
Right.
you know
Yeah,
what?
he's the one.
He's him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be dope.
It would
Kev,
be
you were gonna
really
mention something
cool.
before?
Yeah, it'd be really. I'll mention it in a bit, but it would be
Okay.
really cool is because we all assume a Davy back fight is coming once
Yes, sir.
again later in the
Absolutely.
story.
Absolutely.
If Kaido sees Luffy doing a Davy back fight and all of Rox's crew is acquired through a Davy back fight, I think that would be a really cool moment.
That'd be
as
awesome.
Well.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially like the way it ends. Like, what if Luffy? Because like Luffy, he took the flag right whenever they beat Foxy. He didn't want one of the crewmates. It might be really cool if he goes the opposite way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he doesn't take a crewmate, and Kaido's like, okay, so he's different than Rocks. Like he's better in a certain way. Like he's not going to force people to join, right? Like he wants people to join because they want to join, and that might be one of the final things that kind of pushes him over the edge to know, like, yeah, I need to follow this guy.
Yeah.
because Kaido is always about strength over everything and not about like actual trust and respect.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of
Yeah.
us interpreted like, okay, he probably got that because of Rocks, because Rocks was a very like, strength is all that matters. So that would be a really cool way to invert that. I was gonna say, so I do have like a playlist of music playing, and when we said the Momo and Kaido like flying up the red
Mhm.
Oh
line
my
had
god,
that
which
like
one?
dramatic swell, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, this is like kind of crazy.
Goosebumps.
That's a sign.
Yeah,
Which
it
song was
literally
playing?
like
Which
goose. I was
song?
like, guys, we're talking about a spoiler right now.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping the Rainbow Bridge into the red line. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay,
Ah,
okay.
interesting.
That would kind
Yeah,
of
especially
fire.
with Elbaph context. Yeah, that's very fascinating.
That would be. But I was gonna even say with the Davy back stuff too, because this came to mind right now because I was just thinking like you would obviously imagine like Straw Hats will have to be involved in this, maybe Blackbeard's crew, maybe something like just because again like with the whole Davy stuff that's there, I think there's really three people I can see. One of them more organization, two being other pirates. I think that would benefit from this. The first one being Cross Guild. I think if you want to like add more to the ranks and stuff that's there, I think they would be ideal. But I think if there's two characters you want to bring back into the mix, as I just get another person coming in right now. Who
Oh, is that
this?
Mr. Blue? Is
It's
that
my boy
Edens?
Edens. What's good? What's
Yo,
good? Hold on,
Yo, how y'all
sir.
doing?
what's
Doing
good, bro?
good, brother. What's good, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. I was in here for a while, but I didn't want to interrupt y'all, so I had the stream on in the background.
Nah, I feel you, bro. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, I saw you
Yeah,
in the
no
chat.
problem.
I was hoping you might join. I'm glad you did. Welcome, my friend.
Oh yeah, no problem.
But I was gonna say, Ins, I'm gonna get to you in just a second if you want to give your thoughts after on the stuff regarding Guard Valley and just Elbaph in general, like any thoughts you have on that. But I was gonna say real quick before we get into that part there. The other two people I think would benefit a lot from this because we just seen them technically lose their crew not too long ago, and Law and Kid, if they want to actually build proper crews, I think would benefit so much from a Davy back fight if you want to bring them back into piracy, especially with Law, because people speculate that he's probably might retire from the game and just see off life or just do whatever and everything. You know what I mean? But it's as somebody who owns a little bit of stock in the Hearts Pirates and represents the Corazon here and there, but I need to see. I don't need a playoff appearance, right? Just like my Raptors are going to do definitely this season, right, Dak?
Play in.
Play in.
No. When I'm playing that. Oh man, I'm not kicking you, bro. But next time.
The 10 seed. The 10 seed. They're gonna play at Miami.
Hey, listen.
And Miami's also always in the play in every single year.
That's right.
If Tennessee can get me to the title, hey, bro, don't matter how we get in. It don't matter how we get in, man.
That's right.
That's right. That's right, man. Gotta get your foot in the door.
No facts. Hey, but Chad, shout out to Edens. Edens, introduce yourself, brother. And just speak your mind on what you've been seeing so far when it comes to Elbaph thus far, God Valley Flashback, and all that, man. Just talk to the people.
All right, I'll try to be quick about it. How y'all doing? My friends call me Edens. I like talking about anime, manga, One Piece, and stuff like that. And getting back on the YouTube grind. Been trying to stock up on videos so I can have stuff posting for these last couple months of the year. So nothing new yet, but new shit coming. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No, you're good. We're past the 15-minute mark. You're good.
Okay.
We're safe. We're safe.
New stuff is coming soon. So can't wait for that. All my friends been bullying me get back into content, and
yeah, I'm one of them.
And so yeah, that's what I'm on. But Elbaph, my God, I think it's the most like just what's the word? Not unexpected, but like unpredictable arc when going into it because I just had no idea what to expect from this arc. Like all we knew was what Loki. And that was it. We didn't even know like what about Loki though. But if you told me like back during Wano, when we get to Elbaph, we're gonna get rocks. We're gonna get like Shanks' dad, the origin of Shanks and Blackbeard, all happening on God Valley, Emu coming to God Valley. If you told any One Piece fan that 5 years ago, they would have thought you were talking crazy.
100%.
So like Kev said it earlier with like the fan fiction chapter. With all the stuff I just listed out, and that's like a third of it at most. Elbaph is a fan fiction arc. Like, let's be real.
That's facts.
It's a fan fiction arc.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
I'm trying to think. I'm really enjoying the arc. The Rocks flashback has been cool. Rocks Oda won me over so quick with him as a character. The conversation he had with Harold about the reveal of being the Davy clan member and his real motivation doing this for his family, that was amazing. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like speed through. I don't want to make it too long.
You're good. Take your time, bro. Take your time.
and there's still the mystery that we're trying to see, like what's up with the 2 devil fruits that Rocks needed. I heard y'all was talking about it being like the Yami and the Gomu, or I mean like the Nika fruit, which I agree with. I definitely agree with that. Man, there's so much stuff right now. I guess like what I'm waiting to see the most is like, how does the narrative get spun into being Garp the hero?
Yeah.
And like Rocks being this big villain, and nobody just talks about this Emu stuff that happened.
Yeah, and Garling as well, right? Garling was known as what was it? It was like the legend of God Valley, the champion of God Valley. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. So like, I'm curious to see like how they spin this narrative, because I was cool with believing the Sengoku propaganda until Emu showed up. I'm like, okay, no. How do you spin this? I'm like, did Garp keep the job because they need someone to have this make sense?
Job.
Right. Like I'm like, does Garp
My boy didn't want to
actually
get that LinkedIn account? Yeah, facts.
That LinkedIn account. I'm just like, I just need to know, does Garp and Roger fight each other in the background while all this stuff with Rocks, Kaido, and Whitebeard are happening?
I'm saying.
I guess I'm also curious about like if Oda's gonna make a call back to that line Kaido said about pirates will betray you when they feel like they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Because I think about that panel a lot, because Kaido specifically said when pirates believe that they're going to lose, then they'll run. So I'm kind of wondering if the door is still going to be open for Kaido looking at Whitebeard as like a traitor, or maybe was he talking about Rocks himself when he said that? Because something I thought was interesting was when that chapter when Garp was chasing after all of them, like they're all running and Kaido's the only one that's like,
yes,
he clearly doesn't understand how out of his league he is right now, but he was the main one that wanted to fight. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a scenario like that again this time with Emu, where Kaido wants to keep fighting, but Whitebeard and Rocks are maybe like, okay, there's no point in hanging around here, let's try and get out of here, and Kaido sees that as a betrayal. So that's something that's been on my mind for a while. But yeah, we can get back on what y'all were talking about just now.
I mean, honestly,
we're cooking, dude.
Yeah, no, Eden's. I mean, you brought up a name right now that like I was honestly as a topic for this. I'm glad you brought him up right now, but Garp, because obviously we know it's a big thing going on with him. It's like how he has this disdain for being called the hero of the Marines. Like every time he hears this, the crowd goes crazy. They're happy for him, and there's this guy hears this epithet. He's just like he just snickers. He's just like, like I'm not proud of it. And it's like, bro, like come on, why are you not proud of that, right? Obviously, something had to have happened on God Valley that gave him that name, and it's like you're not proud. Like I don't know, like I think Recon maybe the only other person that might know the reference and stuff, but like think of like Game of Thrones, like the Tower of Joy. Like if certain stuff that, because I brought this up with Dak before for a discussion way back in regards to like what we think might happen and stuff, and I think Game of Thrones, like similar to what the mural was with the Lord of the Ring references and everything. The first world, second world, third. I do think we're going to see him tap into those other ones. And I think Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire makes a lot of sense there. Whether like he got into that tussle with Rocks and then Emu kind of just backdoors and then he's like, you're gonna be the hero of the Marines when this is like how it actually happened and we actually see what that happened. So I think that's like I still believe that's gonna be the thing with Garp, exactly how he got it, and then the world knows it as something else, but those who are on the island know that isn't the truth, right? And
100%.
How would y'all feel about that though? If that's how he got his epithet, like Emu just backdoored Rocks in the middle of like an honest 1v1.
I think Garp is going to do so. I think both Garp and Roger are about to do something like truly legendary. I don't know what exactly it's about to be. I don't know if it's going to be a feat. I don't know if it's going to be a character. I know for Garp, I want it to be a character moment. I don't care if it's a feat or not, because we already saw him do Galaxy Impact in like in the real time, and like I'm cool with that. I want to see something super cool from Roger, because we barely get to see him. But I would love to see both the character moment and a super cool moment for him. But I do think both of them are about to do something really legendary in regards to making us respect them more as characters and as pirates, and adding that final piece of the puzzle as to number one, why Garp never went up to the position of admiral, because he doesn't want to serve directly in the Celestial Dragons, which we're already seeing the seeds for that being planted right now, and then the final nail in the coffin is going to be whatever's about to happen here with Emu. But I definitely do think, because we keep trying to tie this back to the present, whatever decision, whatever thing Garp goes through here is going to have a direct correlation to when we get out of Elbaph and we see what's currently going on with him while he's in captivity. Because the decision that he made while he was together with Aokiji, I guarantee, has the core, the seed that was planted back in God Valley bloomed in that fight with Aokiji whenever he decided to make that final decision or for what happened there in that fight. So the conclusion to all of that, to everything we're about to see here in God Valley, is going to be when we get out of this flashback and see what's happening with Garp in the Island Full of Lead. That's honestly what I think is going to wrap all that together with Garp, and then obviously we're going to get the whatever's going to happen with him at the end. But I definitely am expecting moments that showcase not just him thinking about, what are we doing here, because we're already seeing that, but it's going to be more so something where he has to truly stand up. Maybe it's even him and Roger at the same time having that realization. And like it is said within the Sengoku propaganda, maybe the only thing in the Sengoku propaganda that was actually true is Garp and Roger were fighting together at some point, even if they themselves didn't recognize it. Where it was like more of a moral fighting together, where both of them came to the same conclusion at the same time. This is something bigger than themselves. This is something bigger than one of them just trying to get the treasure and obviously get his adventure in Roger, and Garp, who all he wanted was just to fight Roger. They're both going to come out of God Valley understanding that it's way bigger than themselves now, which is why I'm so excited for the final context on Roger's side about why he came to the realization that he was too early whenever he found the One Piece, when he got all of the actual information. All of that stems from what is about to happen here on God Valley. So it's that important on both Roger and Garp's character journey, whatever is about to take place. But I do think they're both about to have really integral character moments, and that's what I'm really excited for both of them.
You guys have any input you want to answer that, guys?
I'll just say it is interesting. I haven't really thought about this, but like Garp getting captured is really interesting because he's captured by Rox's son. And if Garp, if the story's true, or well, if the theories are true, I guess, where like, Garp and Roger did team up to stop Rox, maybe he gets Domi reversied or something. But if Garp really did have a hand in Rox dying, it would be kind of interesting that now his son is holding him. And so it's like, what kind of revenge does Blackbeard want over that? I don't really know, honestly, like how he's gonna, how he's gonna feel. And then also you got to remember, Pudding has the memory fruit, and I don't know if that is gonna come into play somehow. Like accessing Garp's memories has been a theory for a really long time.
Yes, right.
Or I don't know. I don't know who else it could be, but there's definitely something there. Oda, definitely set up that whole situation for some major reveal that ties back to God Valley for sure.
It could be Blackbeard trying to access like even his own memories when he was there as a kid too. Like it could be he doesn't fully remember it, so maybe that's a reason too. So he doesn't just see what Garp saw, also like what he saw.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
was like in shock
man,
the whole
dude,
time.
and he looks at the memories and he's like, "Oh, Emu, you got to see me now." Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
peak.
bro.
That'd
Oh my
be
god.
peak.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down
Oh,
for that. I like
man.
that idea.
Dude.
I did want to say in terms of the Roger stuff, like Roger throughout pretty much the entirety of God Valley has kind of been like a comedy relief character.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
really interesting to me because he's always seen as like the super cool guy. Like obviously in the Odin flashback, he was like the ultimate cool guy, except for like little moments here and there. But I personally think, because we mentioned earlier, Rock's having like a speech of some kind of grand send-off moment. I really like that idea, but I feel like if he does have that, Roger has to be there. Roger has
I
to
love
be
that.
there to, like,
Roger
I
has
love
to be
that.
to hear that for sure.
What-
1000%. Yes.
Yes.
And I think
For sure.
Whitebeard, you can argue too, kind of has to be there as well, as we get Recon coming back after, so I could readjust the screen and stuff there on my end. This because I love a Streamlabs, man. But no, I mean that would be a really good thing to see there if that happens, just because it's like, again, like I feel like Whitebeard's also another character that would have to be there too, because I think it would add like a lot to even his own speech from Marineford, because it's like, for him to feel that way, his captain has to have played a massive role into all of that happening. So I think that would be the case. Like Roger would be there, Kaido obviously would be there because for his own stuff too, and you want to further his characterization. I think that would make a lot of sense. And then obviously, just the main players that you see that would be there. I think that's definitely going to play. I think that's going to be probably the craziest speech we're going to get in the series until maybe Joy Boy, like him actually
Hmm.
telling
Mm.
about Poseidon, about the apology and stuff. Like I man, I have so many things in my mind of how that's going to play out and stuff. And I think that could be one of the most emotional moments in the whole story. Is him like probably his tears knowing that this war they just lost, whether it be on fairgrounds or not, writing this apology as he's about to die. Just I don't know. Maybe that might be a video for the future. I might talk about one.
Yeah, it
But
would be really cool. Like what if the poneglyphs are essentially Joy Boy's final speech, but like cut up into a bunch of different stones, right? And that's why like different pieces have all the different clues. Like I don't know if it'll work exactly like that. Maybe it's just the apology one, but that would be really cool to see like the past of it and see like Joy Boy saying these actual words and like maybe it's just somebody is like recording what he's saying and then they went and wrote it or I don't know
yeah.
how it all works. Like, I still really like the idea that the poneglyphs are actually Joy Boy's body, but he was turned to stone or something like
Oh my
that.
god, that would be
Yeah,
wild.
and that's
Yo,
and that's why and that's why
Yeah.
they have a voice. Yeah, shout out
bro,
Randy Troy.
dude, shout out to
Um,
Randy for real.
yeah, that I still love that theory. So that's going to be one of the craziest flashbacks. But I think Rox is going to have something like that. Like, you know how Oda's been trickling a lot of like the end game lore, especially throughout Elbaph with like the mural and the Harley text, and then Gunk Moo shows up. Well, actually, I think it was still Gunko at the time, but she's like, whatever side the Giants pick is going to greatly change the outcome of this war.
Oh,
And then
facts.
even Rock said something similar to that, like something where teaming up with the Giants is really important.
Yep.
So yeah, whatever Rock says is going to be another piece to that whole puzzle for sure. Like he's going to drop some crazy lore.
No, for sure, man. I do actually have some questions and stuff that were asked earlier in chats, and then thankfully I can remember some of them. And going back to 1162, shout out to Scale because he had brought this up before. Going to the talk with Sengoku and Garp when they were discussing about what was going on and stuff, right? The information that they were relayed to, and this is from the Viz, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. There was one man who reported some rumors, but he vanished from the Navy's
Oh,
ranks. Now, some people had theorized on who they could be and everything, right? I think Scale was saying that Zephyr was one person that they think that might have been that. Diaz Barrels is another name too, obviously because we know his situation and stuff. Eventually, we met up with him again. We lost Flashback, and him with the Opie Nomi. Do you think that part is going to be important in terms of who
yes.
that person was relating to it? And if so, who do you think that person is going to be?
So I do think that plot point is important. I'm kind of 50-50, maybe even lower than 50-50, that the person who reported it will be important.
Yeah.
Because it gives me the same vibe as like when Who's Who was like, oh, one of the guards talked about Nika and then he disappeared. It's like I don't think that guard's
Yeah.
gonna end up being important. It's just to tell us like, just anyone who mentions it gets cooked is kind of the point. But I
Yeah.
do think the event that they're reporting on will be important, as in that cleansing that Sengoku heard a little bit about will be an important cleansing that we'll learn about. And the one I think it is Brooks Island getting cleansed because
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sengoku joined the world government 56 years ago, right? And we know that cleansings happen every 3 years. So
Yeah.
56, and so there would have been a cleansing 56 years ago, the year that Sengoku joined, and 53 years ago. And both of those are eligible years for Brook to still be on his home island when it got cleansed, right? So I think like the whole Gunko and Brook situation, I think the one he's talking about is that. Like that
Yeah.
event is where Gunko got
Oh,
taken,
okay.
and we'll learn about it later because maybe even Brook maybe somebody will be talking about it and Brook will chime in like, "Oh, I was there." Like I don't know how that'll all shake down, but yeah, I'm thinking that's Brooks Island and that's
Yeah.
the Gunko thing.
And I think we get that in this arc though, Dak, because I mean, given out the fact
Yeah.
of
Yes.
where, with Emu popping in to get Gunko and then that little tidbit that was there, there's no way you can just go with another arc and then we get it afterwards, especially with the way that Brooke has been perceived in this arc a little bit, that he's gonna get some kind of moment, whether it be like him in combat, whether him with just further characterization about something that we've been waiting to know about since like pre-time skip, goddamn near, right? It's like this
Yes.
will be the perfect time to do that. And I think I definitely see that in the cards. It's gonna happen in this arc at some point. Um Kev, is there anything you want to add on to that by any chance? Or
Yeah, so I definitely do think it will be important, the part about Sengoku saying that, oh yeah, someone made a mention about this, ain't heard from them since, they just disappeared. I think that will be important because it shows that the world government, because so I think it'll be important because it shows that the world government is willing to get rid of even like supposedly their own people if they know too much.
Yeah.
Like we kind of saw this at the end of Marineford when we assume it was the Gorosei or maybe even Emu who ordered Doflamingo to go kill Gecko Moria because they just had no use for him anymore because he just failed too many times. So it's like, okay, so people on your own payroll, y'all are willing to like get rid of once it doesn't serve y'all purpose. So that I could see being relevant. In terms of who, I'm not sure if it would be relevant, but at least the actual point of they're willing to get rid of like people within their own ranks if they know a little too much makes sense to me. I guess I'll keep this part brief. Is anyone here familiar with Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll keep it very like mild to not get too deep into spoilers with it, but like, there's a part in Attack on Titan where they kind of let you know where it got to the point where technology was advancing, and when it got to a certain point they would get rid of people who were advancing certain technology to a point to where they could like leave the walls, like if they air balloons, blimps, something like that. Those people, they would get rid of those people when it's like, all right, y'all are doing a little too much, and that's their own citizens. So I kind of see that happening here in One Piece, where it's like the world government, they don't care. They'll go as far as to get rid of any Marine who knows too much. Like we saw it in Egghead where they it was the thing where Saturn was coming around and they said I think it was anyone below a vice admiral rank. They said don't look.
I think it was commander, or some of the started with a C. At least in TCB, that's what they said. But I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, high rank though.
It was it was a high rank, and they were like, yeah, everyone else don't look, and you saw what happened when like anyone who was of lower rank did look. So it's like, I don't know. They clearly have no qualms about getting rid of like those who they don't consider important in the grand scheme, which I think is gonna also be the standout of what makes Garp so different in all this, because he's asking Sengoku for questions. He's actually like trying to figure out what's going on here. And we know coming out of this situation, he's considered the hero of the Marines. So I want to see like, okay, what was it that made Garp so special to where they didn't try to get rid of him? Is it because he's just that strong, they can't do nothing with him? Or is it because they needed some kind of like scapegoat to like make the situation look good in their favor? So that's just kind of where my head is at right now. Still a lot of questions.
No, it's just like a chat, just hilarious. Just
that's crazy. I couldn't remember the word Commodore when I'm on Commodore Laz channel. You would have been good at Egghead, Laz.
I would have been, yeah. Oh yeah. You know how funny it was, like reading that the first time in the chapter. I'm like, yo, like if you're not the rank of Commodore, you ain't gonna be here. And I'm like, me?
I'm good.
I'm good. Like, bro, or the first time I saw with Blackbeard, because like they call him Commodore Teach, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds way too fire, bro. So, shout out to all my Commodores, man, for real, bro. That should be like the community name, honestly. But yeah, I was gonna say, so Kev, do you have anything else you want to add into the thing before we go into the next question?
I don't know. It's just like, nah.
Anybody's like,
I'll let my thoughts fester, just let me do its thing.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Kev, bro. Appreciate you, brother. DJ had something he asked earlier. He said, "Laz, unrelated to the chapter or anything, do you think that Future Sight will be relevant again? Do Emu and the girls say have Future Sight, maybe the Holy Knights?" I would imagine Emu's got to be like the one exemption from all of them, where it's like they have to have some OD crazy stuff to be able to like wield everything into their own mix. What do you guys think on that?
Emu might just know the whole future. It might be less seeing the future with observation and more just, I know this story, right? Like I know every move that happens. But maybe there is an inflection point where Emu won't be able to do that. But I mean, you look back when Emu was like, yeah, let's go ahead and bomb Lelucia. Like it's close or whatever. Like I've always wondered, like, does Emu just know that Sabo went there? I don't know.
Hey, bro. The way you just said that, that's, I just pictured in my head, like, okay, But yeah, I mean,
there's gotta be something more. There's gotta be something more, bro.
I'm at the point where so like you mentioned Lelucia, after like Era just made that comment about, oh yeah, we're gonna meet in Lelucia. I'm so like I feel like Oda's doing this thing to us where like we're thinking so hard about the small details, like what you said, Dak, where the Imu no Saba was there. Where it's like in the story, it's telling us he clearly didn't know Saba was there. He was just like, oh yeah, it's close. And then like I feel like Oda's just gonna do this thing where we found out Leloucia is so important that it's even relevant in the Void Century at this point.
Dude,
Like
I was saying
I'm ready for that.
As I said this earlier, at this rate, Joy Boy might just be from this place. Like it's like I'm that certain.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It all happened with some little cowgirl, and now we're here. Now Joy Boy's at this location. Like just something crazy like that.
Yeah, because Oda's called back to this island several times in the story now, to where I'm like, okay, this island is like going to be so important, and we just don't know it yet.
No, for
I don't know
sure.
if you guys could hear that, but I just had, I'm counting them, but I think I just had 6 police cars drive right past my house with the sirens on, and they were my dogs are like freaking out. I don't know if you guys could hear it.
No, you're
my
good,
God.
bro.
I mean, they're gone now, but my God, like there was a whole train of cars.
You know what that was, Dak, right there, that prevents all that from happening? The power of Coruscant, bro. Shout out to him and that fruit, bro. Because the way he
true.
just silences
True,
everything is
true.
just beautiful work, bro. The greatest, what do you call him? We call him. He's this father who stepped up. He absolutely really was for Law.
The father who
shout out to
stepped up, yeah.
Coruscant. Facts. But yeah, I mean, with the future side thing, it's like that's true. That is true. Recon, what are you saying?
Oh no, my bad. I just came back. I apologize.
No, you're good.
I was trying to find this panel just to add on one final thing to the Lucy conversation. In the final spread, when this in the same spread where Emu says that that it's close. The Gorosei Jupiter, he says, and I quote in response to it being Lucia, then we can bring this ancient battle to its conclusion. That's a very interesting statement.
Yeah.
Very interesting statement to bring up, especially with this new Lucia context.
I got a question for you guys,
mm-hmm.
and I know it's gonna sound crazy, but just hear me out.
Okay.
Is Lucia okay? Like, are all the people not actually dead? Because we know that like a good chunk of them left with Sabo, but like
yeah, I'd say so. I'd say like at least 95% of them are still alive.
Like did the island just get pushed down and they're all okay at the bottom?
That would be, I don't know.
Is the island in Davy Jones's locker?
Yeah, and they somehow they got pushed in there and they're all okay. Like knowing, like I don't know, knowing Oda, I feel like they're all just going to be alive somehow. I don't.
Of course.
It sounds crazy, but I don't. There's going to be a way.
Wait,
so there can't be a mass death at all. There can't.
So y'all trying to say that the Great Cleansing was just the friends we made along the way? Like that's all it was.
No,
is that what we're gonna do?
The only cleansing is coming from Suru.
That's right, baby.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Was the shower that came down, bro.
Bro, I'm gonna keep it a stack, man. I'll be annoyed if these Great Cleansing is just like you're just putting them down and just chilling at the. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about that.
They become fish folk. Like through evolution,
bro,
as the years go by.
Oh my god, no.
That'd be nuts, actually.
It would be kind of interesting imagery. I mean, like, because if Oda obviously borrows a lot from like mythology and religion and stuff like that, there could be like the Red Sea, like splitting the Red Sea. That would be a crazy shot to show. For, like,
interesting. And that's how they survived.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting that the hole doesn't fill up.
Yeah.
The hole doesn't fill with water, so they haven't drowned. It's like they just got pushed down, and there's some force keeping the water out. I mean,
there is another indicator of that too, because you gotta remember going back to Ennie's lobby with the water and stuff that's going down there. So there's something down there. Like imagine if there are people. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I'll put it out there because we know Tom can swim, bro. If he doesn't, I don't know what to say, bro. Fishman, you gotta do better. But like, what if Tom is just chilling at the bottom there?
Like down at the bottom of any.
He's just because like we didn't see nobody no death. I still am a big believer in that. So it's like so imagine he's just chilling at the bottom of this place, bro. That would be, oh my god, yo, I'll be so crazy. Like, because that would be something Oda would do to be, like, give you a reason, but like, yeah, he's fine. He's just they just kept him captive to do whatever they wanted to do, but he's good.
He's in Davy Jones' locker, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they literally said, let's send him to Ennie's lobby. Like,
yo,
he's not dead. That's less dead than other people who ended up being alive. You know what I mean? Like, Kinemon was 10 times as dead as that, and he's still here.
That's right.
So.
Yo, I don't want to will.
Helga had by nuke, dude.
I don't want to will this into existence because y'all remember with the Gabon thing that we saw back with us. Oh my god,
Summers?
the doctor with the Crocus.
Yeah.
So you remember that cover story that we saw where it was Crocus was talking to Gabon? Yo, please don't. This would be like you mix this with the Bon Clay reveal in the cover story that they're alive. Can you imagine Oda decides to do something where it's like it's Tom talking to some guy, and we find out
Oh
that dude
my
is Davy D. Jones or
God.
something, bro?
Mm,
I would lose my
That
mind.
would be.
I
That would
would-
be.
that
I-
would be nuts.
Oh
that would be the
my
most Oda thing.
God.
Like, it's like,
Well, it is interesting that Tom's brother Den stays where all the ships go at the bottom of the sea, right? Like they all
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
up there, all the sunken ships. It's like, so
True.
what if Tom finds a place where like all the drowned people go, or I don't know
yeah,
what the story is,
exactly,
but
bro.
something
The
like
drowned god, bro. Nah, bro.
That's an A.
Nah, bro.
Hey, Oda, next cover story. Following Tom.
I'm
Let's
saying,
go,
bro.
baby.
Yeah, we done with. Hey, look, listen.
That
Shout out
is
to
not
Yamato,
good.
but hey, we had to
Cover
get up out of there,
story,
bro. Hey, shout out to Yamato, but still, like we gotta get into that next
That's
cover
right. That's
story,
right. We
bro.
love
Yeah.
Yamato around here, but
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
Tommy Peak.
But real talk though, the next cover story, I'll bet heavy money on this, is gonna follow the Vegapunks.
Let's
I
go.
like
Ooh,
Gabon.
I'll be
I
fine
think
with that
that
too. I'll be fine with that too.
I'd love that.
That's a high pick for me.
Vegapunk, Stussy, and Sentomaru. Those three have to get covered in this cover
Yeah,
story.
that.
that would be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
so.
yeah. I definitely got the Vegapunks and Sentomaru as like high picks for the next cover story because I can't imagine like who else it would be right now.
Every cover
think
story, it follows the past arc. The last four have followed allies from the past arc, so
Yeah.
Mm.
be perfect.
I think
that
the
would-
only other one it could be that would be like cool would be like checking on everyone looking at Luffy's new bounty poster. I
Yeah.
think that would be
Mm.
the
Oh,
only
yeah.
thing
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
Deck of the
I
World
could
V3.
expect
Yeah.
outside of that. Because when else are they going to do one realistically? Like,
Yeah, that is true.
The only thing with that, Kev, is it would sort of give away the speculation right now, which is who's in the Holy Land. Because if we see like Shanks looking at the bounty poster, then it's like, oh, he's not in the Holy Land. If we see like Dragon looking at it, oh, he's not in the
Yeah.
Holy Land. You know,
That's
it's like,
true.
oh,
That's
it leaves
But-
one person.
but-
So I think Oda wants to hold on to that for a little while longer, but I do think that's on the horizon. The cover story you're talking about.
I do-
I could definitely see that coming soon.
I can
He
see
could
how
also
that
do it
ends.
in the story too.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
could.
that's true.
He could, yeah.
That's true.
Well, I mean, then you could also do something really cool, which I love when manga does this. When it's like you have a cover of something that's happening, and it actually goes right into the content itself. So, like, if you
Yeah.
do like a cover story of like see what's going on, the last one being is Blackbeard looking at the newspaper of what's going on as he's walking through the doors of Mary Shawa. I would
Oh,
honestly
that'd
cry.
That'd be the greatest.
I
that'd be the
broke his
greatest
head. It's
cover
like,
story of
yo, that would be, bro. Oda, I would give you ideas, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he knows ball. He knows ball. He knows ball, bro.
He knows ball,
bro.
bro.
For too long,
That'd be-
he's
that'd
known
be peak,
ball,
though.
man.
That'd
That
be
would be.
peak.
Oh, I would lose it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. And the thing is, like, he's gonna probably do something that's just gonna blow our minds, regardless. So it don't matter what's in the pot, man. We still eating.
That's right, baby.
know?
Yo, give us. You know, what'd be super cool. Since we're in a flashback, give us like a 4-chapter cover story, but it's in the flashback. It's like we're like
That-
following like Rayleigh and
yeah.
Shaggy or something, and then
Oh,
like in
that
the
would
next
be
one,
yeah.
we're
That would be kind
following
of
someone else.
fire. Yeah. Oh my
I think
god.
they were pretty cool.
Oh, that is something I do want to ask you guys because I don't know how important it is to the grand scheme of things, right? But do you know how like Rayla was supposed to ask something to Shaki in the chapter and like that kind of just got denied? What do you think that is that they were going to talk about? The idea of marriage,
Oh.
maybe? Like
They can't settle down yet. Like he was gonna be like, I got something I gotta tell you, and she said like I already know, right? I think that's how they said it.
Yeah.
I think he was gonna say, hey, I can't be with you yet. Like I gotta finish my adventure first. Like I do love you, but I can't settle down with you. I think is the idea. Like I gotta
Yeah.
go save Roger and find the One Piece before I can marry you, kind of thing.
yeah. So what we're about to get is the Sasuke Sakura but good moments.
But good. Oh my
god.
You know where I was going? A little tap on the forehead, yo. That's what I'm here for,
The
bro.
little tap on the forehead. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Bro, the tap on the forehead is
I'm
nuts.
telling you, bro. Oda does that, bro. Hey, you can't tell me he can't do romance if he does that, bro. I'm telling
That's
you,
right.
bro.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my god.
Oh
But
my
I'm trying to think, is there anything else on the stuff that we've seen in 1162? Actually, well, there is like a minor one. I mean, it's very quick, whatever. So you guys saw what happened with Shanks, where Mafia was trying to come in and get them and everything. Shanks fell on his head. Everyone think it's a Dragon Ball Z reference and stuff. Do you think that he got the evil knocked out of him? Because obviously we saw what happened with Shamrock in his later life, became evil and stuff. Do you think that had Shanks stay with his family, he would end up the way he did, or he would have like saw the signs that something was wrong and go on and do his own thing? because I've just seen
love
some
that.
I've seen some very curious things of people asking about this and stuff, and I'm like, I truly believe Oda did that purposely to knock the evil out of him in a comedic way.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
I didn't see any of those
So
comments.
funny.
That is such a great Dragon Ball reference.
It
Bro,
is.
if
It
that's
is.
true, if that's
That
true,
was the
I
first
love
thing that came to
that.
my mind, bro. Recon. When I saw
I
that, he's like,
love
"This is
that,
literally
bro.
Goku. It's literally Son
Yeah.
Goku over again, bro."
Like,
Like,
Right. I
you
love
know?
that, bro. I didn't even think about that.
I would like for it.
That's so
Oh yeah,
good.
my bad.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that's great. I love that.
Nah, I was just gonna say like I definitely can believe that this is like in part what made Shanks as like a good guy. I guess Oda also just wanted to like have a little comedy moment in there, also with the whole like reinforced idea about like it's who you're like brought up around that makes you who you are. Since like Shanks and Shamrock are like literally like two sides of the same coin with like
Yeah.
as opposite of upbringing as you can have. I would also like find it hilarious that this is also why like Shanks is like super goofy majority of the time until you like force him to get
Yeah.
serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the chapter one Shanks you get where he's like just such a goofy guy, and it's like you would never think this guy is capable of like being top 4 pirate in the world. Like the goofy side, like this is the Shanks that this is what led to the Shanks that yeah he's drunk on an island talking to the world's greatest swordsman, trying to talk about fighting them. Where like yeah hey let's get drunk together, like something that
Right.
like nobody else would do.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I'm kind of on the boat where it's like I could see Oda doing the Dragon Ball reference, but also reinforcing his own plots in his story about like it's your upbringing.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure. 100%.
What Doflamingo is one where it's like he got a taste of the life as a celestial dragon,
Come here, buddy.
and
Sorry, guys.
you know when he
You're
had
good,
when
you're
he
good.
had no you're good. And then when he had like less, when he saw like what it's like to have less of that, he didn't want to go back. I mean,
Yeah.
like he
Yeah.
didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to that. He wanted to go back to what he
Yeah.
had.
Yep, 100%. I definitely think that's also what that parallel with Eris and Blackbeard and Dragon and Shanks is too. Where had there just been a little bit of a difference in that moment, they also could have flipped, and we could see like a Shanks right now trying to take over the world, and a Blackbeard who would be in Shanks's position. That at the drop of a dime, Shanks could have been Shamrock or he could have been Blackbeard. But thanks to the heroics of Dragon, maybe a little comedic stuff on the side, and then obviously what happened with Roger afterwards, he was able to be the person that he is right now. I definitely think that's what Oda's going for.
Yeah, I do
I
really
agree.
love the fact that in a lot of ways, Dragon really was like his first dad, even though we know Roger was more so that for Shanks. Like it's just crazy,
Yep.
just that connection became a thing, and like
Right.
honestly, I've really been appreciating what I've seen also from Dragon in this flashback.
No, me too.
It's like
Me too, man.
obviously because we knew about the connection back with Kuma that he had some kind of ties to the Marines. We just didn't know what exactly it was. Obviously now we've seen that he was a rookie at the time. He was getting his teeth into the content and stuff of what he was doing, and then especially him becoming the revolutionary leader and stuff. It's like, people knew the fact that he was a Marine, like a high ranking Marine that became the most dangerous criminal in the world. It would kind of just be a weird look at the Marines. Like this guy was in your, you know what I'm saying? Like it would have been really crazy, but I like how Oda's been handling that whole thing. Cause you're seeing first and foremost, like from a rookie standpoint, watching all this stuff unfold. It's like, the people that our occupation, what we're supposed to do, what we're sworn to protect and stuff, this is not it. Right. And
Yeah.
I feel like we have to be doing this for this arc is to see a conversation between him and Garp. I feel like that's almost a necessity because that's going to be the thing.
Yeah.
I feel that diverges him into the path that eventually becomes, the freedom fighters, eventually into the revolutionaries. So I'm really hoping that we get to see that soon with the Dragon. But I'm curious on what you guys think on that with Dragon, because obviously he's a character for about 1,100 and soon to be 63 chapters. We've been wanting to know so much more about. But how do you make of the way Oda's been doing this stuff with him, and what are your expectations for him actually in this flashback and then going forward?
What I love so much, because I'm right there with you. We've talked so many times about what Dragon could do in the story.
Yeah.
But this flashback has been everything I've ever wanted for Dragon, and what I love so much for what it's doing from a character standpoint. You made the comparison to Garp there, in regards to exactly how both of them are reacting to what's happening on the island right now. What I love so much about what Oda's doing with Dragon is it's obviously supposed to remind us of what happened with Kobe and Marineford, right? And how both of them reacted to the injustices that they were experiencing. And what's so interesting to me is that they both come to different conclusions. That one believes that he needed to leave that system, create his own group in order to oppose those who stand at the very top. And then there's a Kobe who wants to change it from the inside. And so, even though obviously Kobe didn't see the atrocities that were happening here on God Valley, but he still saw his own fair share of injustices back in Marineford, and they both came to two completely different conclusions. And I love how we've been highlighting that just you seeing certain levels of injustice can lead you down a specific path if you're that type of person. Because who knows what would have happened, like I said, if Kobe was on God Valley or if Dragon was on Marineford and the roles were switched, how things might have changed. Would Dragon have wanted to change it from the inside? Or if there's something else that happens on God Valley that truly makes Dragon decide, even more so than he already is right now, that there was no justice to be found there. And so I'm just as curious as you are about where this is all going to lead, because we're already seeing just how just how great everything has been for Dragon so far in regards to, this is what we've always wanted from his character, for him to move when things are happening like this. So it brings into the picture, bringing things back into the present, why he's waiting for the Holy Knights, why he hasn't moved in other situations, if now he has the power to do even more with that. And it all leads back into he's looking at things through the bigger picture. And I'm just, all this flashback has done is just amplify my excitement for what we could see from Dragon in the end game. Obviously, a character that's been cooking since chapter 100. Obviously, a really important character to the grand scheme of the narrative. But now, when you give him a connection to Luffy and Shanks, or I'm sorry, you already had the connection to Luffy, but specifically to Shanks, it's like, man, what could happen here in the end game with that type of stuff? So I've been loving the stuff with Dragon, and in particular, whenever you then bring the comparison up with Kobe, I think it's really interesting to look at it that way.
For sure, yeah, definitely. Kev, Ian's Dak, anything you want to add on to that?
Feel as though with Dragon, I've been a very harsh critic of this dude's character because he hasn't really done anything besides what he did in chapter 100 that made me like care. You know what I mean? He was always like the
Yeah.
man behind the desk doing something, but we never see him doing anything. He's just talking. He's a lot of talking and a lot of nothing. So that's why people like characters like Sabo more than Dragon, even though Sabo isn't like the big hype guy like Dragon. We see him literally do more things and also have more emotional impact. I think the last time I was hype for Dragon was him being revealed as Luffy's dad, which was Eni's Lobby, which was 700 chapters ago, right?
That's nuts.
This is the first time I could say I genuinely care about Dragon. Like, he's actually doing things. He's actually making an impact in the story. And the most important thing, he's having emotional moments in the story. Seeing him taking Shanks and Shamrock away while Eris is taking Blackbeard away, that actually made me feel something. Like, genuinely. I was like, this is so good. That was like what I said in that moment, because it shows that Oda is finally making this man who is meant to be a very inhuman character. Like, oh, he's thinking very logically. He's thinking very strategically all the time, 24/7. He's giving him that impulse that Luffy has and that we're so familiar with, which is, you know, connecting him to Garp and Luffy. And it feels very, very satisfying. You know what I mean? It's really great to finally see him do something, not just wait to do something. So, genuinely, this stuff with Dragon has been actually good, you know, which is awesome. But it's not just actually good; it's like it's really good. You know what I mean? And I feel
100%.
like with what Recon was saying, you know, this is what we've always wanted from Dragon. It definitely is, but I'm still waiting for him to be, you know, more of the leader as well. Like, not just like the desk leader. I'm waiting for him to be on the front lines at the giving his speeches and stuff. Like the speech he gave when he picked up Sabo from the Gray Terminal. That was a cool moment. So I'm waiting for more moments like that, but in the moments that really matter, you know. So I'm excited. but not even cautiously optimistic. I'm definitely optimistic. So I'm just intrigued more where this is gonna go,
Yeah.
after this.
What I think is really cool is that we were kind of wondering about the Ginny thing, like why didn't Dragon go after her, like what, or even to a greater extent, like why hasn't he tried taking down the celestial dragons earlier than this? Like, just what are the reasons for his inaction, right? That's kind of what we always wondered, and I think him being at God Valley and seeing these atrocities and seeing the Gods Knights in action, and I would assume he's going to get a glimpse of this emu thing. I would guess, or at least he's going to feel like the hockey coming off it. And I think that just gives him some important context where it's like, hey, he knows full well what he's up against, right? He knows if he goes to the Holy Land and tries to do something, what he's going up against. And it's not that he, doesn't want to, because he's like, obviously they already went once and they might be there now again. But it's like it just gives important context for, like, Dragon knows better than anyone else that, like, it's almost impossible to kill these guys, right? And I think that's really good for his character, just because of how Oda can develop it now, right? Going back to the Ginny thing, like, I don't know if it'll be just as simple as, hey, we wouldn't win, but maybe
Mm.
there's more to it, where, like, maybe he tried once and they
Mm.
lost, right? Or
Yeah.
like, I think there's going to be way more to that situation now, because he clearly knows, he knows what they're up against. Maybe he even did try to go back one time and he failed, and he's like, look, I'm not messing with these guys until it's the time, until, like, the Nika's here or whatever's going on. So
Right.
yeah.
I was gonna say, because I know before Eden's goes into what he was going to say, because I think Recon, you were the one that brought up the thing with the Dragon and Kobe comparison. I think that's
Mhm.
there, right? I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we have that happen during God Valley, where like an actual like dragon does something, and it's like, you commend him for it, but it's like, this is not your time. And then I think that might have been a thing that was instilled in his mind, where it's like, there's a time to act, and maybe I should like have to be careful how I do that. But then we saw what happened when he didn't act when Jenny was lost, the
Mhm.
way that she was after. So then it would add a bit more weight to that thing of like, there's a time and place for these things. And obviously that's now, I think, a big thing about Dragon now at this point, even though it's not something Oda's directly saying, but it feels like that's where it could go into. And for the fact that
Mhm.
it's taken this long to get that point, I know it's like we kind of want answers to happen after there, but you build something properly and it's handled right, it comes out pretty well. So
Mhm.
the Edens, you wanted to say your piece.
Yeah, so I, as someone who has been like on the, I guess, like the Dragon Defense group for the better part of,
I'm
like, I
with you
guess
there
like
too, man. I'm with you
Yeah.
too.
two and a half years
Same.
since throughout Egghead, or even before that, with the whole like, hey, Dragon ain't done nothing yet. I've been the guy who's been very strong on the opinion of like, yo, we have to wait. Like Oda,
right.
he's clear. It's clear Oda's not
Yeah.
giving him nothing to do yet. Like the characters who I've always had as like the top two, like we just gotta wait on it, have always been Shanks and Dragon. Shanks, we actually have him doing like over the last like what 4 to 5 years now. We can list off a couple of things Shanks has actually done in real time in the story now, whether that's a cool feed or getting more involved now. But Dragon, it's like we're still waiting on that in present time. Outside of like, they were finally doing what I guess was supposed to be the big attack on the Holy Land, until like, until Blackbeard is about to come and mess all that up for them. But yeah, no, I don't blame Dragon for the Jenny stuff at all. Never
Yeah.
have, because as the reader, it's understandable to get upset and ask these questions on why you didn't do X, Y, and Z, when we see how Luffy storms into like the Ennies lobbies and Marine Fords, and for the most part, I wouldn't say comes out unscathed, but still comes out with his whole crew alive. Everyone's in one piece and all that stuff. No pun intended there. But
I was about to say.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
yeah, it's like, it's also just like, I think some readers have to understand that like we're following Luffy. Like Oda's not gonna have Luffy die in Ennies lobby. Like he's gonna have some reason on why the Straw Hat crew gets out of there. Whereas like Dragon's not the main character. But if this was like another story, Dragon would be the main character. He is kind of like the hero of the story, in a sense of like he's the one character who is like leading the helm on trying to actually change the world for the better. And I just kind of think that he gets a bad rap for quote unquote not doing nothing, when it's like I told this to a friend of mine. I said when I was explaining the dragon stuff, I was like, all right, bro, do me a favor, start a YouTube channel. Try to get some good vids, get monetized. All right, pay an editor to make your stuff go by faster. And then like I started like listing off all the stuff that other YouTubers do, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Now put it in a real like war scenario where it's like you have to manage all these people, make sure nobody's betraying you. Otherwise, one bad thing could be the end of this whole thing you've been building up for decades. That's what Dragon's been going through, which is why I try not to give him no flack, because I'm like, especially with the Jenny stuff, because I'm like, yeah, we could say they could have raided Marijois and gotten in and out. We could say that, but we don't really know the full scope of that area outside of like the few moments we've seen there with the Reverie. But like we don't really know like how in depth it goes and stuff. But to wrap it up, I love what Oda's doing here with God Valley, finally showing us like the moment of Dragon realizing that he had to do things a different way, because he thought he was doing things the right way with the Marines, till he saw like the atrocities that the Celestial Dragons were committing, even they were committing. And to me, it really sets the tone for what he is in the present day of this character who is like very stoic for the most part. It's very rare that you see an emotional expression on his face. I think Kev brought up the stuff with Sabo, where like that's one of the few moments where you actually see him kind of break that stoic facade of like when you see he's like surprised by something. But yeah. I don't really have any more to add to that. Just like I love what that Oda finally set the precedent on why Dragon, in my opinion, why Dragon is the way he is in the current modern day of the story. Because it's clear this is a guy who's seen a lot. He's been through too many things. He doesn't trust his own people to a certain extent. Because I think it was Ivankov who said that they don't really know much about Dragon the person.
Yep,
that's true. Yeah.
Dude, you were cooking, man.
Whenever they visited Gray Terminal, Ivankov was even like, "Wait, Dragon, you have resources way out here, like informants, all the way out in this part of the Blue Sea." It's like they don't know anything, Like
he's trying to deflect that so much as possible, bro.
I love the YouTuber parallel, dude. I think that was perfect for Dragon, because like it's so true, right? Like he's the individual in charge of the entire system, and if one thing falls, then the operation they've been working on for 20 years like immediately perishes in that moment.
Oh, for sure, bro. I was gonna say, so yeah, like that's up with Dragon. It's like, listen, man, at the end of the day, I know there's gonna be a time and place for like what he's gonna be doing, so I ain't got nothing to worry about whatsoever when it comes to him. If you invest his stocks in the guy, just know that it's gonna go straight to the moon. You're gonna be having gourmet every single day when it actually hits. So just stay tight. Just stay tight. I'm trying to see right now, you will prosper.
I've been Jozu handing my Dragon stocks since I started the series. I feel like I've been ever since like chapter 100. I've been like, all right, I'm ready for this guy. Like he's the revolutionary. Like that just really appeals to me. Just changing the status quo to a better version. Like I've always been like, all right, I want to see what this guy's about. So I've been diamond handing for, let's see, I got into the series in 2016 or so. I've been diamond handing for 9 years.
Yeah. So
hey, I'm gonna say this. If we get to that point when it's finally Dragon's time to shine, give us more of his character. Basically, if it's if what we get for Dragon is like the equivalent of how people talk about Kaido, and I mean like the people who really don't like Kaido. Like if it's like that, what we get, so where it's so underwhelming for Dragon, I'm not gonna lie, you might see me tap into like my inner like JD legend and just go on a crazy rant.
Let's get it.
We'll all be crashing out, man.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's definitely gonna be like that. Like I could just tell you right now, because he will die. Like we agree, he will die. Like this is like a more likely than not.
I don't know. Die. With Dragon, I don't know. That's he's a very 50-50 character right now, I think.
Noron Ross in the chat says Dragon seems like a Whitebeard type character. He'll be amazing in his arc, but will probably also die in the same arc. I just think he's more important to the world building story than to Luffy, which I definitely agree.
I agree.
With that last
I do. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I got the annoying lines from the light.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's so like that. His flag is literally a red flag. He's got the red death flag all over him all the time, 24/7. Like he's
Oh.
cooked, bro.
Speaking of that, I'm just curious. Do you guys have any theories on like why the logo for the Revolutionaries is what it is? Like, it kind of looks like oars a little bit, like, or what? I don't know, a dragon maybe. I don't like. What is like? What do you guys think that is?
Wait, run that back because I had a question I was just reading right now, so it just kind of blew my mind for a sec.
Just what's the Revolutionary logo about?
Oh, for
like,
that,
like on the flag, like it looks like kind of like oars or like a weird creature of some kind. Like,
I think it may have a connection to.
I think.
I'm about to say I think it might have a connection to Dragon's face tattoo.
Yeah,
so-
probably. Yeah, there's definitely
like,
some symbolism behind that thing too. That's another thing that has to be explained because, like, we
Right.
saw like in Kuma's flashback, like with the different time periods and stuff of like when he didn't have it and when he did have it, but obviously something had to happen for him to have it, right? So it's like that's a lot. I don't know. Maybe there's something we might see in God Valley that might just give like an indicator of how all that happens. Because otherwise, I do think we're probably going to see something like in a. I do think he gets his own flashback at some point though, Dragon. I think it's almost like a given.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I don't know if we get to see like, because that's the thing with God Valley, which is so weird for me, because it's like I feel like we should be getting a lot of stuff that's gonna be happening, but then again, it's like characters like a Blackbeard, we may get some of their perspective a little bit in God Valley, but like that may not be in the main thing we're seeing from Loki, from from whoever's perspective we're seeing it from right now. I feel like with Dragon, we might get to see a little bit more of that after the fact. So even though I kind of do hope we get to see the Garp stuff this time,
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to like elaborate on this as well because I forgot about this. This is like assuming we will get like an extra like detailed actual dragon flashback like post the God Valley origin stuff. I would like to see some actual, I guess like meta narrative related stuff where it's like you see how a lot of people in the One Piece fandom talk about Dragon. I would like to even see that within the story itself where it's like you see all the burdens Dragon has to have as a leader, where it's he's thinking about the long term, where there might be some soldiers who are thinking about like the moment, like for example, like I would like to see a moment where it's like Dragon, he comes off like he doesn't care because Kev, like Kev said, he comes off like he's trying to think logical. He's only looking at the end goal. I would like to see moments where Dragon is probably like to himself, I don't know, like in his office or like somewhere by himself, and then you can kind of, and then like that's when he lets like the frustration show on like like for example the Jenny situation. After Jenny died, and he's Dragon is here and talks about there's some troops in their ranks who are like they're questioning Dragon as a leader on like, yo, you could have done something about that, yada yada, or like why didn't you at least try? And so I can understand. I would like to see Oda kind of flesh out like how much of a burden Dragon has been carrying this whole time. Just showing how he like keeps it all in. Just like focusing on the end goal. I think that would like say a lot about his character. Just showing how strong he is.
We need Dragon crushing a cigar like a Kainu does, like
I want to bring this up real quick before I lose the thought. So King of the Indies had a really great point, and I think it probably tells absolutely regarding a thing that I think Dragon is aware of the stuff, because obviously we know what's going on right now in God Valley and everything. But you remember he said that thing all the way back in chapter 100 to Smoker? What did he say exactly? Those who remember that chapter.
The world is waiting for our answer.
Yes. Now, if he knows, I know this is Oda we're talking about, where he could just
the world
take something from. I'm just saying.
The world.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Crazy.
If he decides, that's why it's like it's so 50-50, where it's like it could be Dragon, it could be Blackbeard pulling up. When you get comments like that, it's like, bro, shout out to King of the Indies for bringing that up, man. But that would be
that's a good point.
That's hard facts. That's hard facts.
Yeah, that would be. I'm just telling you right now, man. This guy Oda, I don't know. He's a Martian, bro. He's a Martian, bro. He's not human.
Laz, just to add one more thing, one quick bow on the Dragon conversation in regards to the potential Dragon backstory after this. I definitely think it's happening because Oda said in an interview a long time ago that whenever he tells the story of Luffy's birth, it's going to connect to the creation of the Revolutionary Army, as well as Luffy's mother and Garp, right? So all of that has to be within a flashback. So my assumption is whenever all of that comes to play, that's going to be a Dragon POV centered flashback. Whenever we see the circumstances around Luffy's birth.
Yeah, facts. Oh my god. Man, I just thought of it right now. It's like, is this like when I think about this being the best flashback and stuff in the series? Like, yeah, right now it definitely has that because of all the stuff that's happening. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you, man. A Dragon flashback, or even just Joy Boy. Oh man, that
Oh, no,
one
bro.
thing so
Listen,
rival.
There's so much
After-
potential.
Oh,
bro,
so much
man,
after-
so much.
After this flashback, I'm like guaranteed 100% certain that what Oda has cooking for the Void Century might actually be the best stuff in the series. Like,
Bro,
like just
it's-
bar none.
This is something
gonna
you would
be
put in
nuts.
museums. That's how good. Like you're taking little panels and putting them in a museum, bro. Like that's how good that
Yeah,
thing's gonna
dude.
be, man.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
my god. There was one more question I'm trying to look for here in chat because there was some really interesting stuff that was there. But if you guys have anything you want to add from what we're talking about right now while I look for the thing?
Fly Eagles fly, baby. I don't know what's going on right now. There's 2 minutes left in the game, but I'm sorry.
No, you're
Do
good.
y'all? I think I talked to Dak about this. Do y'all think this is where if you're on the boat that believes Dragon has a devil fruit, do you think this is where he gets it?
Ooh, it could be.
Oh,
Yeah, among the
man.
treasures. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, definitely
can see
could
Because I
be.
know like one of the Roger Pirates had made a comment where like amongst all the gold there was like at least a devil fruit there, which is
Yeah.
like where we assume Dragon is gonna put Baby Shanks at, like the chest is at.
Mm-hmm. I've always loved that idea. Like he switches it out, eats the fruit, and then puts Shanks in the
Mhm.
treasure chest. I love that idea.
Mm.
Yeah, so I got the one that's here. Then there's another one I'm trying because I remember the question. Just want to make sure I got the person that's had asked it. But DJ had asked earlier. At the end of this year, like December or after Elbaph arc, because we've been seeing Emu as much. Do we get the face reveal? So, do you think this year is when we get the face reveal, or do we get it next year? Like, you have to put
It's
a
whenever we
timestamp.
cut to the Holy Land, bro. Whether it's this year or next year, when we cut to the
Okay.
Holy Land in present time, I think it's face reveal time for sure.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my money on. I'm gonna put my money on. If the only option is a word this year or next year, I'm gonna put my money on next year because
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about the fact that we have to get to the real part of the flashback, like the actual
Yeah,
reason
facts.
we're in it, and we still got to
Yeah.
get all that fleshed out on Elbaph later. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say next year.
Yeah, same.
Okay, I think I remember the question, but if again, I'm gonna bring it up and stuff. So if those the person in chat that had asked it, please let me know if you're the one who said it. But they were basically asking, like, because we know with the connection between Shanks and Dragon that they have together, right? And obviously we haven't really seen in present time them have communications and stuff, right? We know Vegapunk. There was a big thing why he didn't want to work with the Revolutionary Army or in per se with the Freedom Fighters because he needed funds to be able to do all the stuff that he's doing. So what I'm trying to basically bring up is, do you think that there's a possibility that at some point in the present, when Shanks and Dragon eventually talk to each other and whatever, that Shanks, in some ways, may have helped funded and helped out with the Revolutionary Army to kind of get them kind of going, whether it be in Baltigo or just kind of expand their operations in some way? Do you think that they've had some kind of communications at any point in time post the events of what happened, or they kind of just they split off and that's what it is?
That'd be
I
crazy.
would love for that to be the case, honestly, because once again, that would just go back into the whole Shanks being connected to multiple different elements of the thing, where it's the connections to the Revs, connection to the pirates, connection to the Celestial Dragons, and if he is directly funding the Revs, or whether it be monetarily or whatever the case may be, I think one of the reasons why I would like that so much is because we know what they're currently doing in regards to trying to counteract against Blackbeard, and what he's currently trying to do in regards to like the weaponries and trying to take down certain elements of the world in regards to the shortage of food or to their weapon systems, whatever the case may be. And for the Blackbeard, or I'm sorry, for the red-haired pirates to then be supplying / funding the Revs under the table, I think would just be a great way to once again show that parallel between Shanks and Blackbeard. That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
But I've told you this before, Les. I still think we're getting that Shanks and Dragon panel together.
I think, bro,
fighting something. You know what I'm saying?
That would be crazy,
They're gonna
bro.
be together.
Oh my god.
They're going to be in the Holy Land working
Yes, sir.
together, where Shanks is going to fight Blackbeard and
Dude.
Dragon's going to fight Emu / Garling / whatever.
Bro.
I think that's where it's going.
I could
Let's flip
genuinely
and go.
see, because the Straw Hats are probably going to be fighting either the God Knights or Blackbeard's crew, whatever's going to pan out with that. I could, it's actually crazy. So in New York 2 years ago, we said, is Shanks walking out of the Gorosei completely unscathed?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, is he? Because Garling is now there, and Garling and Shanks have to have some kind of confrontation.
That's right.
Like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be Shanks and Dragon versus the Gorosei? Or is it just going to be that?
That'd be that, bro. Just thinking about it has like my heart rate going up. You know what I'm saying?
Because
but
I don't think Shanks is gonna. I don't think Shanks is gonna fight Emu. I don't think Shanks will fight Emu
for sure.
I could see Dragon fighting Emu, but I feel like again that's more of a Luffy Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Like that would be the duo to fight Emu, and
Yeah.
Dragon and Shanks would be the duo that fights the Gorosei. If not, other people are involved as well. Like maybe Rayleigh's there helping fight the Gorosei as well.
I think Shamrock would have to be a part of it too, right? Like the Gorosei and Shamrock and potentially some Holy Knights.
Which means that you definitely get that Shamrock and Shanks fight, because I think that was, bro. Because I'm trying to think, like, what other fights in the manga that could happen right now where it's like the internet would break. And I'm not talking like a clash. I'm talking about like a proper squabble.
Hey, but listen, there's a few, right? There's obviously Shanks versus Blackbeard, Dragon versus Emu, Dragon versus Garling, Shanks versus Shamrock. All the ones we just mentioned.
Oda's about to do a crazy one. He's about to do a crazy. He's gonna give us Blackbeard and Shamrock. Watch. It's gonna be just like one that no one's talking about.
Yeah, so
that'd be so peak though. That'd be so peak.
We were talking about what's happening at Marie Joie, and this is my personal speculation is that Akainu just is like, I hate all of you. I'm burning this place to the ground right now. So it's gonna be Akainu versus Shamrock. That's what I.
Let's go. Give me that. I want to see Akainu. I want to see Akainu do his thing. That'd be nice.
Bro, I'm just thinking that idea of Van Auger using the Warp fruit to kind of move like Blackbeard and Emu to like where the red line is, because now that we know the significance behind the red line about it being that snake and stuff and everything, and just like I just the imagery in my head of just this vast open land, and we're about to see two of the craziest entities in the series box it out on live manga on a weekly basis. Like,
bro, that would be the most hyped I'd been for a fight since a certain fight in JJK was happening weekly. Personally,
I know what you mentioned.
You know what I'm talking about. So it's like that would definitely be like the most excited I'd be for that Emu and Blackbeard conversation, just because of the context of this flashback and what Blackbeard represents for just piracy as a whole. So like, it's injected, man. Please inject it.
I know it's kind of going back into stuff with the Shanks and Dragon, but I will actually, if we get to see them link up at some point in time, like maybe a fight or he comes in to aid the other in something. If Shanks ever says something like "Arigato, Oyeji," like something, I would lose my mind like in laughter, but I'm just like pure hardness, like on like because I do wonder, like it's a little thing because obviously like we have our own speculations of it, but do you guys remember going back to the Odin flashback when obviously Shanks didn't go with them to see Laugh-Tale and everything, but like there was that first page after the whole thing where he's crying. And it's like something was said from Roger. But now I know there's speculation. Like maybe he either had a nightmare, remembered exactly what happened on God Valley, which would be probably a small indicator because we did hear him and Shamrock crying their eyes out when their mom got licked, literally like a few chapters ago and stuff. So that could be like, and again, like I've always been a big believer in this. JJK put this on there is that babies tend to remember things that you would least expect. And that could be something that could have just came back, whatever. Or he may have learned exactly of like who his family was through Roger or something. That's kind of like what happened there. So like, do you think there's gonna be any significance that Oda goes back to that? Like whether it be Shanks' flashback
100%.
or something?
No doubt. Yeah, 100%.
No doubt.
We have to call back.
100%. Because Shamrock when he first showed up in Elbaph, he dropped some crazy information like, oh yeah, Shanks came to the Holy Land at one point, and we were trying to get him to like join us, and he said no. And it's like, okay, well, when did that happen? And based on how we can like figure out the timeline, all we can at best speculate is that most likely it happened like post Roger's death, and Shanks has like this entire like blank history himself of like, all right, we need to find out what you were up to this whole time after Roger's death, because like, what do you know? Like, you're the other person that we're still waiting on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be because I generally feel like there's a reason like Oda put that specifically to happen, and we didn't get to like know a little bit more into that. So it's like I think we're gonna find out in due time what that actually will be. Try to see if there's any more other questions that chat has, because then eventually we'll get into the predictions for 1163, and then we could either yap about other things or we wrap up from thereafter. But I feel like because we've been discussing these things for so long, I feel like don't want to stop at any time soon. But I did see a couple things. Hold on. Let's see. It was like a very interesting saw. I do wonder if Luffy's birth. This is from Duran Stavuya. I know Recon mentioned the name. I do wonder if Luffy's birth will ever be mentioned. If there will be a subtext for us to read into it about it. I mean, I feel like it's gonna have to come to the flashback with the dragon because like it's weird. It's like Luffy. I feel like kind of needs another backstory. I don't know if you guys are the other way. If you feel that too, because it's like I know we got in the ASL stuff. I know we got in what we got in chapter 1 with Shanks, but I feel like there's a life before all of that that needs to be talked about. And it's like I know it's like I'm not asking for Luffy out the womb as the POV of said backstory, but it's like
I take it.
I think, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I think, can you imagine, like, Okasan? Like, if that's how we're going to get the backstory, it's not through Dragon, but through her. It's just, like, it just randomly, like, he remembers this girl, and then all of a sudden, she's the one that takes the lead as the protagonist, and then go, like, it would be cool if you do something like you switch between the two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the reason why I think it's going to happen, I don't know, like I said, whose perspective it's going to be, but I do think we get the leaving the maternity ward, because I think there's so many parallels between Luffy and Loki that we do need a Luffy chapter like that to see how his parents reacted to his birth in this world, because I do think that is going to not only be reflected in, obviously, like I said, the Loki section of this flashback, where obviously that's where we started his flashback, was through seeing that in regards to both of his parents. But I definitely do think something similar is going to happen with Emu, where whenever we see the circumstances surrounding Emu's birth, and that connection potentially to Luffy's as well, it is going to be extremely important, the moment that these individuals are born, because I do think Oda's going to go into a sort of I'm not going to say a spiel, but like a really cool moment of showcasing that just a human being brought into this world was enough to bring in the tides of change, like a forever change history. And I think he's going to have to showcase that through multiple different perspectives. We're already seeing that through Loki's perspective. I guarantee we're going to see it through Emu's perspective. That he's going to have a similar narration box of, oh, and this individual being born into this world was supposed to be a blessing, but it ended up being the biggest curse, or whatever the case may be. And I think for Luffy, it'll be the opposite. Where it'll be, whatever it's going to be. So I think we do see, like, all jokes aside, Okasan in the maternity ward, and then baby Luffy, being born and brought into this world. I definitely think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, because I feel like that's like the 180. Oh, my bad, Kev. But I was just gonna say, like, in regards to like that, I feel like because when we saw how Loki, like his mom treated him and everything, and like that still is probably one of the most heartbreaking things I think the series has shown me, where it's like that poor kid just wanted love and attention, and that mom just boomed him right off the damn second level, bro. Just like, but I do think that entire personality of Luffy is straight from the mother, which is like that's why we waited so long to see that after. But I can already see like that, like the second that we see her, you're gonna think like in the normal sense, like there's no way she should be taking care of no damn kid or whatever, because she's probably just doing like wild stuff, like like how Garpa's like throwing in the jungle and stuff. I think literally the mom would be doing that just for the vibes, but like you're gonna see like the most pure natured mom at her best work, and then 100%. How that she ends up being lost and all that is what we have to see. Kev, you were gonna say?
So I love that you have this really happy interpretation, while I'm
no.
Like,
I'm
down. I'm down to it.
All right, bro, do it.
The mom, I think, is probably gonna die during the birth of Luffy, and Luffy will be literally interpreted as like a cursed child because the mother died. That's how a lot of babies who were born hundreds of years ago. That's how they were interpreted as like like a curse, like, oh, they shouldn't be alive because the mother died. But the mother would easily like, sacrifice her life for her child to live on. I think that's something that would be really powerful and like resonating who Luffy is as well, just making sure like putting others before himself a lot of the time. I think that would be a really cool way to showcase that aspect of his character through her. Now, I don't know who it's going to be. A lot of people think it'll be Tritoma. I like that theory. I think that's fun. But regardless, I think it'll be something more substantive than just like, oh, Dragon met this girl, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's going to be cool. She probably is going to be cool. Kind of like Blackbeard's mom. Like, she's pretty cool. and actually like doing her own thing and not like, we don't know what Rouge was like, or we definitely don't know what Shanks's mom. We don't even know Shanks's mom's name. So
don't even know her face.
something.
That's right.
Yeah.
We never saw her face.
I'm still mad. Listen, can I be honest, bro? I'm annoyed with Oda, bro. Can we just stop this whole thing of silhouettes and I gotta hide from the side, bro? Like you could, like you showed Blackbeard's mom. What's wrong with not me see, bro? Oh man, you're gonna be tight, bro. Oh my god.
That's
and I might get,
right.
to Garland. I'm gonna get to Garland in a second because I do want to bring up another topic regarding him. Because oh man, but continue on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the mom is definitely going to matter, but I don't think she will be a part of Luffy's life except literally giving birth to Luffy, which would mean he's
Interesting.
like, besides Dragon, who already is completely out of the picture, that might be another reason why he's like so on his own a lot of the time. Like he doesn't even have this woman that he births Luffy with. I think that'd be really cool, personally.
Bro, I just
Man,
seen
that would break my heart just because of Ace and Luffy, right? Both of them lost their mothers in childbirth. Like that's something that would both connect them forever, as well as that would just be heartbreaking, man. But I definitely see where you're coming from. I think that would definitely be something Oda would do for sure.
I will say this though, it brings potential for the worst possible meme of all time. Like it's generally the worst one. You know that guy where it's like first time? That meme.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I can already see it in my head. If that's how it goes, you're gonna see Rouge looking at Luffy's mom like first time, like just I just hate memes, bro. 100%. Just like JD Curso brought up something hilarious for a sec. I just had the point where it was yeah, he's like, how can the mom be dead if Crocodile's still alive?
I mean, true. I mean,
how could the mom be dead if Crocodile's still alive?
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, that has to be explained too, man. Shout out Crocodile. But I do want to. Sorry, Ian. So you were gonna say?
Nah, real quick. I just wanted to add into real quick where I was gonna say. I think some of those things that you were talking about, Laz, about like the extra Luffy stuff that we could see. I think some of that might hopefully be answered through a Dragon backstory.
Yeah.
Like post God Valley. Because like something else I would very much like to see too is like a conversation between Dragon and Garp, because the only thing that we've seen Garp acknowledge Dragon outside of telling Luffy who his dad was Dragon. Was Garp being pissed off that Dragon became a revolutionary.
Yeah.
But like we've never seen them speak to each other at all in the story, and we just recently got the chapter where Dragon is looking at Garp calling him dad. So I would like to see how that unfolded, where Dragon somehow gets Luffy to Garp, kind of like a Roger Ace situation. And I would like to see that conversation, how that unfolded.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be awesome.
We do know one thing, because I remember Garp, this is going back to Ennis Lobby, where he's like, he had heard from I heard from your dad that you were in Logtown. And I remember that specifically in the Viz when I was stated. Now, granted, the translations from the Viz at the time when they were being published versus like how they are now are two different things. But the way that they were saying that was that Dragon and Garp had spoken to each other. So at the very least, they're on speaking terms. We don't know how friendly, we don't know like how lax it actually is. But I feel like there probably was that disagreement where it's like, he went on to his own thing, but we always assumed that if Dragon diverts his whole path, well, he's not talking to his people, because it's like, why is Garp still with the Marines? But I do feel like with Garp, it's like we're probably going to see that reason why he's still with the Marines, because he probably at the end of the day believes in his own justice. And that's it's hard for him to go out and do that. What Dragon's doing, because like Dragon, you can do your own thing, that's fine. But what I've always believed in is what I always believed in. Whether you think it's right or wrong, if I'm still in the same system that everyone looks at as corrupt, but if I can be that person that can try and like fix it in my own way, that's something that I do think Oda needs to do, which is why I'm really hoping that in this arc we get that established with Garp, because I feel like that's the thing of his character that everybody needs to see, just be able to have that affirmation with themselves, where it's like, Garp is that guy. Not just the fact that he could throw hands and whatever, but he stands on business for the business that he's in, right? So, but I do want to. Oh, my bad, Recon. You say?
My bad, bro. I just wanted to say I have to get going. I just want to give love to the chat and also to the boys. Yo, shout out to the brothers, man. It's been a minute.
I appreciate you, bro.
Really glad, obviously, to be able to talk One Piece with y'all. Super excited to see what happens when we come off the break. But listen, the NBA season starts off soon, and hey, I know we're all fans, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's about to pop off next week. But it should be a good season. But
absolutely, man.
Yeah, man. But y'all have a good one. Glory, Man United, and shout out Fly Eagles Fly. I'll let you know.
I
Shout-
just
shout-
looked to see if
It
the
was-
Eagles game was over. I saw they won, so
There you go,
we
Recon.
went
There you
there.
go, man. And
Yeah, man.
yeah, man. I appreciate you, brother. As always, guys, make sure to check out King Recon. Link in the description below. I mean, like when you hear the name, you already know the boy, right? So shout out to Recon, and you already know you're invited always all the time. Come through, and
Yes, sir.
we'll definitely. I know definitely between you and I, at the end of the year, we definitely have some stuff for the manga of the year stuff. We'll definitely be talking about in due time. But again, I appreciate you coming through, brother. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, man.
All right, yo.
Thank you, Recon. Let's see. Let me fix this before we continue on. I did see a comment though earlier regarding Garling because I did want to bring that up as one of the things because I know some people kind of felt away about how, and I'm not gonna lie, like when I first read the chapter and stuff, right? Like we saw like that crazy pose and stuff that Rox had and everything. You know, he's standing on business and I was like, all
He
cool.
was- he
And then,
was
and
a
then
demon.
that's what I'm saying. And then I looked at that one part of the panel, and I think you know what I'm talking about, where it's like on the far corner before it goes into the double spread, where like I couldn't tell what that was until I realized it was Garling that was knocked down. I thought for the longest of time it was a tattoo or something in the moment. So that's on me for my reading comprehension not kicking in. But what do you guys make of the whole thing regarding how Garling was kind of like off screened by Rox? Because like I'm not gonna lie to you, like now that I've actually had time to kind of like just sit down and just like process that thought in my mind, it's like, dude, like I wanted to see fights in this arc actually happen too, or like at least in God Valley. It doesn't have to be like hundreds of chapters of them squabbling, whatever, but like actually see a proper fight between them. Like, were you guys dissatisfied with Oda how he did that, or have you kind of just like what do you make of that? Because I definitely was not a fan of the fact that that got pushed away.
this is exactly what I expected, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have big stocks in Garling being a powerhouse in this. This is a story about Rox and Garp and Roger, and I guess to a greater extent, you know, the Celestial Dragons and the Rox pirates as a whole and stuff. But like, I never thought Garling was going to be a big factor in this. I mean, he's a factor in the sense of he's probably the strongest God's Knight there, and he ends up as the champion or whatever. But I never thought he was going to be a big player. So this is pretty much exactly what I expected. I mean, he'll have a role later, though. I mean, obviously he's a Gorosei now, so he's got plenty more. But I think this was kind of his like I don't know what to call it, but like it's like a humbling moment for him. I think
Yeah.
is more so what this was always supposed to be. Like this probably put him on a path to be like, all right, wow, that like we're not really as strong as I think we are, right? Like there are people out there that can go toe to toe with me. I need to go get stronger. So I think that was the point of all this. So yeah, it's what I expected. I'm not disappointed or even excited because this is just this par for the course for me.
Yeah, I got you. Kev, Edens, where we stand on it?
I completely agree with Dak. I'm not gonna lie, it would have been amazing to see like, because of course people want like an actual epic fight, but for me, I'm always a bigger fan of like the one shots, and I would
Okay.
have loved to see him one shot Garling because Garling is such a detestable
Yeah.
person that I just want to see him get like beat up so badly. And seeing that his whole head is a massive
Yeah, like
dent in his
yeah,
head,
yeah.
like, and obviously them having a whole fight would just be unsatisfying anyway because they have this regeneration ability and we don't
Yeah,
know how to
that
beat
is
it.
yeah.
So it would just be, to me, kind of like padding for like the stuff I actually care about, which is like the emotional moments and the lore drops and stuff like that. Like action is awesome, but there needs to be stakes in the action. And with the Gods Knights, there is no stakes in the action because they're gonna get healed up again. So I don't know. I still would have loved to see Zebek like do some crazy attack on him, but
Mhm.
it makes sense to me that he would just completely destroy him. And I see in the chat as well. Scale says not just soloing Garling, all the Gods Knights. Like that would have
Well,
been
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Cause like I actually see the moment, like, cause I know we kind of saw it with before with Rayleigh when he put the attack on Summers and stuff. Like actually, like as long as we got to see the attack happen, that's cool. But it's like I wish we could have got that at least with some back. Like would have been overkill. Would have kind of maybe hurt the stock, I guess, of the Holy Knights. I mean, I think it does more damage off screening that per se, because it's like you're just telling us like, you know, we know it doesn't matter to Oda technically because right now we're focusing more on the story, what's happening. But I feel like actually showcasing that just again for like the sake of like showcasing strength and for the people that power scale essentially, it's like you want to just show that it's like yeah, like Zebek was that guy, even though it should be already told to you. But it's like sometimes actions speak a lot louder to me And I don't know if that's something that maybe the anime will probably do its thing and probably provide that for us in the long run. But
Yeah, the one thing I was kind
Mm.
of hoping for, or I was a little bit expecting to see, is like, you know how like Joy Boy's rope hockey sent all the Gorosei back that like teleported there. I was starting to wonder, like maybe the Gods Knights, or at least some of them, teleported to God Valley, and then maybe Rocks would have enough of like a hockey burst to like send all of them back, and then that way it would be kind of like, oh, is Rocks on Joy Boy's level, or it's just like maybe a little more exposition on how the circles work and stuff. So I was kind of hoping that might happen, but he just cooked him. You know, no didn't even need a hockey burst or whatever like Joy Boy did. He just cooked him normally. So
yeah, I know it's just like I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like I've kind of like made peace now with the series, where it's like Luffy's gonna be the one that they're gonna showcase all these stuff that's happening. That's great, man. I mean, when I talk about like the top 10 fights in One Piece, 80 to 90% are probably gonna involve Luffy in it. But it's just like I kind of would love to
Yeah.
see these other characters showcase how dominant they really were at a point in time. Like when I talk about like I hear people say like King and Zoro, or like say a senior Frankie versus senior Pink or something. It's like I see those there, and trust me, like it feels like a long time since like we've actually had like seen other characters do stuff to like the magnitude of what their name actually holds the weight to it. It's like, bro, like I know it's like it's storytelling. I love that, the adventure and everything, but it's like, bro, like we pirates, we squabble, all this stuff, man. Like, and I get like the thing Oda had brought up a long time ago, where he's like, I can only draw 18 some pages a week. If I could do more, I would. But I do feel like if I were to go back and look at some arcs and look at things that maybe like Awano, for example, I think that's something that people almost agree with her. There's some stuff that we probably could have done without, I think, in the long run, and then maybe probably could have added stuff afterwards. But then again, by the way that Oda's by doing some stuff, would it have been the same outcome we would have got to these other things that we're getting right now? I don't think it would have. So I'm just gonna trust the process on that. But at the same time, it's like, do you think that the anime, in a lot of ways, would kind of like for you be like, I'm fine with these fights being fleshed out more in the anime, because I mean that's probably the best way we can all consume it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had like two answers to the initial question last.
Yeah.
So I guess I have like a in story answer, and then like I have like the meta answer. So
Okay.
like for the in story, for like the in story answer, it's I think it's as simple as so me, I'm in the group. I'm kind of more so in the group of like Dak and Kev, where I didn't really have high stocks on the Gods Knights themselves. Like I thought they were gonna be strong, but like not this I know there were some people who were wondering if they were like Yonko level, and I'm like I'm not confident in going that far with it. But I think this is just a situation where it's like Garling, even here in the flashback, Garling is still a very strong character, but this is Rocks. It's like the equivalent of like, yo, Kid is like strictly pirates in the One Piece verse, like in current time, not all time pirates, but strictly like living pirates right now in the One Piece verse. In the One Piece verse, Kid is like a top 10 pirate,
Yeah.
strength wise, but it's like that's Shanks. Look at what Shanks did to him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's not a knock on Kid. It's more so like uplifting Shanks, and like that's kind of how I view Garling, where it's like not Garling, but Rocks, where this
Yeah.
is like hype for Garling, not more so downplay on Garling, because it's like we were told from the beginning who this Rocks guy was. He got hyped up with being this guy who went toe to toe with Roger and Garp at the same time. So it's like this is what I expected. If anything, like he's living up to the hype that Oda had set for him. And if he struggled, like I feel like that would be more disappointment on his part. But so yeah, I'm not surprised on what's been happening with Garling. This is like Rocks living up to it. The part where I was saying the meta answer, you were kind of already getting a bit into it, where it's like I think this is just like in thing with Oda, where he's just trying to get through the important parts of the story and letting the anime handle the extra stuff in regards to the action. Because I truly think at this point in One Piece, we can't really expect too much outside of like maybe like key fights or key characters, like anything like how you said last, anything regarding Luffy, Zoro and Mihawk, uh maybe Shanks and Blackbeard. But outside of like mainly like those fights, most of the time I think it's at best to expect more so a clash.
Yeah.
And with anything non-straw hat, but like I think it's at the point where the anime is gonna really like go crazy with the fights, and Oda's just giving us the stuff we really care about, which is like the story, the lore, the conversation pieces, and all that.
Yeah. And do you think that like for you guys personally, like, cause I know like for a lot of us in here, we talk love the story. I think that's like the main thing. I think we'll talk about more than we all do fights. But it's like, do you feel like the anime is a fine avenue? Like if you're gonna have those discussions about fights and stuff, because like I feel like because sometimes the anime could add a little bit of things here and there. You're like, okay, hold on a minute. I don't know if that's what Oda was trying to do in the manga, and that's kind of like this the scary part when you're trying to like figure out, is this how you interpret, because how you interpret in the anime and how you interpret in the manga is gonna be two different things. Because you get told like, I think that one panel back in Whole Cake Island that got exemplified with Luffy, where he does like the six King Kong like things or whatever, but in the manga he never actually
Mm.
did that. But then it's like when you have that
Mm.
talk with somebody about the strengths and whatever, it's like, how much does that add into it? Like between trying to say how you feel about someone with a manga, but you know how in the anime they're gonna show you more of the fights, but they take their own principles. Like, do you kind of just add both, or
Um,
you just go with one in particular when you have that talk?
I feel like oh, that's a good question. Um, so the way I look at it is I look at most of what the anime does when it comes to just giving more detail to the fights. I look at that as like that's just me, where I look at it as canon, where it doesn't really change the actual story that I'm seeing. It's the only things that I don't like is when it literally changes what we're reading. Whereas so for
Yeah,
example, um during Roof Piece, and real quick, I want to say in the chat, scale, I wasn't saying kid is top 10. Like when I said top 10, I wasn't including like admirals and other characters in it. I'm talking about like strictly the pirates that are currently alive in the story,
yeah,
that we know are alive. So I wasn't including like Big Mom and Kaido and all that right now and all that, because we don't know what's the deal with them.
yeah,
But
yeah,
no, to answer your question, Laz, I think that I do like what the anime does. I just don't like when they blatantly change something. And the example I was getting at was some people they don't like how Luffy and Kaido's first fight happened in Wano
yeah,
in the anime, where they kind of give the precedent that, oh, you think Luffy was actually doing something to Kaido, versus the anime, I mean versus the manga, where Kaido just gets up and one shots Luffy and the fight's over. Or the one I really don't like is during Roof Piece, when they knock Big Mom off of Onigashima. In the manga, it implies that Prometheus, I think they even straight up say it. Prometheus caught her before she landed in the ocean, but in the anime, she falls into the actual ocean, and Prometheus, a ball of fire, goes into the water and gets her out of there.
yeah,
And I'm like, and it's moments like that where I'm like, did y'all really have to do that? Did y'all not understand the context that was given in the panel, where y'all just like straight up literally changed it? That's the stuff I don't like. Anything that we
yeah,
just don't have to go on in the manga, where they just want to give it like a little extra fleshed out stuff, I'm completely fine with that.
yeah,
Dude, I remember I watched it live with Randy when that episode dropped, and we were just like, this is probably the worst episode of One Piece, like
yeah.
top worst episodes ever. Because it was like 7 minutes of recap and
Oh
then
my god.
flashbacks to like Big Mom stuff that was like literally episodes ago. And
Oh my.
it was so horrible in like every way. It was that yeah. That
Yeah.
pissed me off.
So,
That Prometheus
for,
stuff. Oh my god.
for me, I think the newer the anime episodes are, the more I give them leeway in terms of like Oda wants that stuff to count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like older
Yeah,
episodes, I'm like they might just have been doing extra stuff just to fluff it up to make it look cooler because they're trying to sell the story. The story sells itself at this point. They're just trying to get as like make it look good but be as close to the story as they can. And so like for the Prometheus thing, like I'm kind of 50-50 on it because I could definitely see Oda like telling them to do that because maybe he meant to and he just forgot or didn't think about it till later or whatever. And so like and I'm not even saying that's true. Like I don't know, but
yeah,
the later we go in the story, the more I can believe he's doing those types of things. Because I mean, he's a
Mm,
really busy guy. I mean, in all sorts of different ways, and like minor stuff like that. Like I could see him being like, "Oh, dang it, I meant to include that because that's going to be important later." Can like think about the mother flame. It looks like fire and
Mhm.
water, right? So maybe he meant to foreshadow it there and he forgot, and so they throw it in. So like again, who knows if that's true or not? But just the newer it is, the more I think he is doing that. So that's how I think of it.
Okay. I mean, hey man, this is I just realized right now it's been like 2.5 hours. Like we ran actually right through this pretty well though, and I appreciate y'all been coming through, man. Predictions for 1163. I think it'll be a good way we could wrap things up there. Obviously, we know next chapter will be dropping later this week. Obviously, there's 2 different dates, possibly 3 different dates of when it might be dropping. But where to go and read it. But as we know, coming off what we just saw in the last chapter, we have this big Royal Rumble type fight that's about to go down. Zabak, Roger, Garp against Emu, Saturn, and stuff. Based on what you got from the end of that last chapter, and you had to put your own prediction of what you think is going to happen in the next one. I'll go in the order from my top where I see here. So with Dak, 1163 is about to happen. What do you want to see?
What do I want to see, or what do I think is actually
You
going
can
to
get
happen?
both. You can get both, honestly.
See, predictions are always hard for me because it's like I don't know if it'll happen in the next chapter, or is it going to happen like in 2 chapters from now? But I think this next chapter is just going to be complete mayhem. I don't even know specifically what I think is going to happen or what I even want to happen, to be honest. I just know it's going to be absolute mayhem because like the way they set it up, it's like Emu's probably going to drop a few bars. I feel pretty good about that. Like Emu's going to like say, oh, you guys are really messing with the fate of the world or some intricate deep lore stuff. But then Emu's going to show us some powers we probably haven't seen before, probably some new spins on things that we're just like, what the hell is going on? And then maybe the chapter ends with the other Gorosei getting called in. You remember how Saturn was like hyping up like, oh, like something terrible could happen if this gets any worse. And then Emu transformed in his body or whatever right after he said that. There's been a lot of talk about what that means, and I definitely interpret it as he's talking about the Emu thing, but I don't think it's just the transformation. I think he's talking about like what if Emu shows up, Emu could do something really bad, right? Like we don't want Emu to come here because then Emu will blow up the island or what, like show their face, something bad regarding Emu. So I don't know if that'll happen the next chapter, but I do think there's like a really big event, attack, reveal, something big that Emu's going to do in that form it's going to surprise all of us because I think that's what he was hyping up. So if Saturn was worried about it, we should be excited about it. So yeah, long story short, it's going to be complete mayhem.
Okay. I love that. Eden's. How about you, man? Your predictions.
Oh man. I do think we're gonna get more of this hype on like where this is going with so if I had to really like put a percentage on it, I think highest percentage goes to it's just gonna be strictly focused on Rocks, Whitebeard, and Kaido with this Emu stuff. And then maybe the chapter after that, Oda's gonna catch up on like the characters like, all right, well, what's Roger doing? What's Garb doing? What I'm hoping. Where is Gloriosa and Stussy? They've been MIA the whole God Valley.
That is so true. They have been.
Like Gloriosa, did you not come here for Shocky? I would like to know what they're up to.
Stussy was in the background of a panel when they were fighting somebody, so she was active.
She was?
Yeah, but she was like to the side. She wasn't a main factor. But Gloriosa has been absent, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because I would like to know what's going on. Top of page 5.
Yeah, it says chaos is in full. It's where the guy who conveniently looks like Marco, but we know
Marco's
I was meant to mention that because I think it was King of the Indies or I think DJ for which one in the chat said, but they were asking about in page 5 like person that looks like Marco and stuff that was there. And I don't know if you guys think that might be his dad or something or someone who had I guess like the fruit or whatever before, but like I found that was a pretty crazy thing where I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on a second, like Marco was like how old again? Like, wait, was he out the womb by then? I don't know. Like, I don't know what old anymore.
This is gonna be such an SBS question. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
The Hanafuda of God Valley.
Whoa.
Like hyper specific.
Bro, yo, you know what his dad actually his name could be, bro? I mean, it's the stupidest thing they could do for puns, but like Marco.
Polo.
Yes.
Kind of awesome.
Polo the Phoenix.
Yes.
Kind of awesome.
That would be fire. Oh my god.
Well, so speaking of predictions, now I'm glad you brought that up because I do have one other prediction because it might actually happen next chapter. My little theory, and somebody in my Discord like mentioned this, so I don't like mentioned part of this, and then I like took it and ran with it. I forget who said it. So shout out to whoever that was. But what if actually? So like it looks like Vista's in the next panel, or someone who resembles Vista. And what if Whitebeard starts his family here at God Valley because he saves the children of those guys who are Marco and Vista? Like, what if this is where he gets those two because those guys, like, he saves them, saves their families or whatever, and that's how, and like maybe those guys end up dying, and he's like, "Well, I'll take care of your kids for you." So like, this could actually be where Whitebeard starts his family because he literally meets the parents of some of the people he took care of, and yeah. So I do think it's Marco's dad, or maybe like a cousin or something, and somehow that ropes
Yeah.
back into the Marco story. But I legit do think that this is gonna tie to how he gets Marco for sure.
Okay.
I agree.
And Kev, you what are your predictions you have for 1163?
Okay, so predictions for the chapter. I have it up right here, so I'm just gonna look through again. So I just have one quick question. One quick
Sure.
question.
Yeah.
So Dragon was talking to someone on the Marine ship. Do we assume this is a Kainu on the Marine ship? He's like a guy who's in a hat.
No,
He's like, Dragon is
I
stupid.
I
Where
th-
is he?
kind of wasn't
I
in the Marines yet.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
after the
yeah,
events
like
of
5-6
God Valley.
years after God Valley.
Yeah, him, Kizaru,
Okay.
and Aokiji. Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about retcons earlier, but we'll see.
Yeah, no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no,
see,
no.
see,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's fine.
I
That's I
agree.
have no
I
problem.
agree
I have
with
no problem with that.
retcons.
Yeah.
The door is open for retcons. I'm just saying like because I was talking to Dak about this. I'm like, for the longest time I kept hearing people talk about this whole, oh man, this relationship between Dragon and Akainu, and I just assumed that they were in the Marines at the same time because same age, and then I found out that Akainu joined like 6 years after God Valley, so he probably joined after Dragon had already left. So I was just trying to find out
Yeah.
where did that stem from then.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
What-
surprised if there's any more like retcons that are to happen for the sake of Oda tying things together. Wouldn't surprise me.
And it's a Viva
I-
card
I
fact.
was
It's a Viva
so
card fact.
That's
I
the other
was
thing
so
too.
convinced that
Yeah,
was a Kainu.
I thought so
I was
too the
like,
first time I
that's
read it,
ridiculous.
because like I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on a sec. Back of the head, he was wearing a hat. He likes his lid snap back and stuff. It's like it gotta be him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But who knows? Well, you start your
Yeah, but
predictions,
yeah.
yeah.
my prediction is so we're gonna definitely see more of Blackbeard's mom. That's my biggest hope is that she's probably not gonna get any backstory here at all, but we're definitely gonna see more of her. But that'll be like some tragic outcome where she's taking away Blackbeard. Meanwhile, all the chaos is going down, and somehow, like Emu having like Saturn's ability, I think is very intentional because he had the very like stretchy, like noodly limbs as well. I think he's gonna like find specific people that he knows are like important to these people and like try to kill them in specific. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna go after Eris in specific because
Yeah.
this is Rox's lover and mother of Rox's child, you know? I feel like that's something very, like over the top evil, which makes it perfect for Emu in specific, you know?
Yeah, remember the
I-
Gabon and Colin thing, right? You could do a similar vibe to that. Like go threaten the family member so it draws out the person you want. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Also like
Yeah.
Odin and Momo, like we've seen it multiple times, but it's like this time it might be just the wife instead, or well, it'll probably be her and Teach maybe. And so I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah.
So I would love that, but I'll see the thing I do like the docking idea a lot though. I really like that idea.
Mhm.
So I hope that happens, but I don't would he speed run it to be it just happens
Yeah.
immediately.
What I think is actually going to happen with the doc, like if all the Gorosei were to show up and all that stuff, like my hesitancy with it happening is like that's something that Oda might want to save to show us because like he's already shown us the Gorosei transformations. It's like
Yeah.
he's got to save a little bit. Like obviously we have the Emu face reveal, but like if there's really a big docking thing, I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe it happens but then we don't see it and we just see them running from it and it's kind of like the Sabo thing where we're like, oh my god, what is this crazy thing chasing them? I can't wait till we see that. I think that might be what Oda does, and so we understand what it is but we just don't know exactly what it looks like.
And then he could save it for the final war because
Yeah.
that's probably what he would do. And then that
Yeah.
would make it almost like a stampede kind of thing where it's like the super big guy and all these important figures got to fight against it. Okay.
could be a little bit of a top musica too. I've been thinking about this because, like, you remember how you had to fight that in like two different dimensions? Like, you had to fight it at the same time. Like, if Emu really has some tie to the underworld, I've always wondered, like, is this going to be a thing where you got to fight Emu in that dimension or whatever? Like, maybe you have to fight Emu in both, or and actually, speaking of like the world quotes from earlier, like the dragon one.
Yeah.
Another one that I talked about in my most recent video a lot was the turn the world upside down thing
Yeah.
because Roger said it, Whitebeard said it right before he died, and then Odin said it, and Toki thought of Odin saying it as she was dying. So it's like, okay, this is like a really important line. And obviously, Domi Reversi flips things upside down.
It does.
And
Yeah.
if Emu's called the world, something I brought up in my video is like, you know, if you were to flip literally the world upside down, like the planet, like if you were to use Domi Reversi on the planet, I guess I should say, it's like you'd almost be turning the world into the underworld because you're making it like the evil
Yeah.
version of the world, right?
That
And
is
so I've
true.
been
Yeah.
wondering, is there going to be a situation here where we got to go to the underworld or bring the underworld to us or get underworld of powers? Like, I don't know what it is. But with all the focus on, you know, these like the pentagrams, and Brooke is obviously tied to the underworld and he saw those in the time skip, it's like, I don't know what the underworld story is, but got to be something.
I
Definitely.
definitely agree
Definitely.
there. Because there's got to be like the Domi Reversi is definitely going to be like somehow happening to Emu or the Gorosei, but I feel like that will like weaken them versus it like heightening everyone else. I don't know, because that just feels too like perfect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel that. I mean, in terms of my predictions and stuff for it, I mean, like, there's so many avenues I can see it maybe going into, but what I would like to see happen, I guess it's like I'm mixing both, like how I asked Dak earlier. I'm just gonna the cop out and just mix them as both together. Um, I do think we get to actually see, like, based on the progression of how Oda's been doing things right now, and I do feel like we're kind of like maybe 5 to 6 chapters at the max left of the God Valley stuff. I do think we get to see the fight go down. And what I mean by seeing the fight go down, I think we see the full capabilities of what Rox has to do, like what he's capable of, what he's about, and stuff. I think there's a reason why Oda maybe didn't show that off in the growling stuff. He might have saved it after instead for the emu bits, which I think, I don't know, more so he was sick recently, so he took the break and stuff. But I've always had this like fear, like my own wild theory and stuff all the time, is that whenever Oda decides to like purposely go on a break, whether it's been by the magazine or whatever, he's cooking in the next chapter, and then, you know, many times out of 10 he ends up doing that. So I think we're gonna see for sure Rox is gonna go ahead and wild out. I will also like to put in the idea that maybe we may see the moment Dragon drops off Shanks in the treasure chest. I think that would be something of interest, and
Yeah.
I could see in the midst of that happening, I could see that Iris and Teach split off at some point, because do know that they're still on the island. We haven't been told that they've gone off to Lucia yet. They split off from Rock, so I do think that's something that could end up happening. Like something in the commotion separates them, and I do think, like, because I was a big believer that like a lot of the stuff of what makes Blackbeard who he is because, like, again, we saw, like, he saw the horrors of what was going on in God Valley, and we still have to figure out what was the thing that is keeping him from sleeping at night, right? I think seeing the moment your dad died right before your eyes, I think would be something traumatic enough where it does that to you. So I do think this is more for the chapters to come, but I do think that separation happens where something happens to Teach right there where he's in danger. Rox goes in, he loses his life, but like he has that wipe your S moment with the speech and stuff, and then Blackbeard's just taking in the fact that he just lost his dad. So I do think that's something where I see the separation from there. Shanks in the treasure chest, and more so we're gonna see the fight Rox wall out, possibly maybe see a Delphi, maybe see that he's proficient incredibly as a hockey master or something. And yeah, basically for my predictions when it comes to 1163. But guys, I greatly appreciate y'all coming through, man. We were almost damn near 3 some hours close talking about the greatest adventure story of all time. I appreciate Dak, Eden's, Kev, and of course Recon coming in earlier today to talk about the greatest with me. Links down in the description below to the channels and all that. I want to grab my outro on the side just before I forget, because I didn't put it in the other slide on my Streamlabs. So we actually gonna do a proper departure afterwards. But again, for anybody that stayed through from minute 1 till the very end, I appreciate y'all coming through. We had an incredible time. Like I said, man, go check out the channel. Especially check out Eden's, bro. I'm so glad you came through, bro. Because everyone loves you in the chat. They want to hear more from you, man. So you definitely need to drop some more videos and streams and stuff, bro. I know all of us in here want to see you do that more. So we're excited for that, brother. You did an incredible job today.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Most definitely,
you know, guys, whenever a new chapter comes out that's really hype and I need to talk about it, my default person to call is Eden's, and we have this like little tradition somewhat where after a new chapter that's like big time drops, I'll react to it, and then a couple hours later, whenever I go to get food, usually Taco Bell, and then I'll call him on the way, and then we talk for like a solid hour while I drive to Taco Bell, pick it up, come back, and while I'm eating. So Eden's is like my default person because he always has good thoughts. So make sure you guys check him out. And the more of you guys that go over there and subscribe and comment things like Eden's, you need to start making content. That definitely pushes him to make it. So one of these days we're gonna push him over the edge to start doing it again. So
absolutely, and I know I'm gonna have Eden's with me with Kevin stuff for like the dotted on content and everything because I know we definitely need to talk about eventually once current stuff ends up wrapping up. We can do that discussion when it does happen. But hey man, shout out to Eden, shout out to Kev, shout out to Dak. Like I said, links down in the description below. I appreciate y'all boys coming through. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. If we didn't get to answer all of your questions, please let us know in the comments, and I will definitely be there to reply to each and every single one of them as we do every video and stream. The support y'all guys have been showing stuff was just incredible just to see, like, you know, on a Sunday, even though I say random Sunday, but, you know, I'm trying to plan this out for a long time. I want to make this at least weekly or so, and hopefully we can do that. Just bring on the people, whether it be in the community, my boys and stuff on here. That could be a great time every time. And next week we got a chapter coming up. I'm excited for it. If we have some madness in here, expect the usual suspects to come through and possibly talk about greatness that comes in, man. But I appreciate y'all boys. Thank you all for coming through. Like the stream, of course, you're watching live, you're watching on the VOD. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, more importantly, make sure you subscribe to everyone that came through in the call today. Recon, Dak, Eden's, Kev. With that being said, I will catch y'all.
And also
in the
subscribe to Laz, by the way. He didn't say it. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of did,
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna judge it. Make sure you subscribe to Laz too. Shout out Laz.
I didn't want to beg it. I didn't want to beg it, but
Yeah,
still.
And real quick, I just want to say, hey, I was keeping my eyes on the chat the whole time. You guys were super like engaged and had tons of good questions. Just shout out to you guys. This is why the One Piece community is goated for sure.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
You ever
y'all
saw
killed
me
it
look
today.
this direction? That's why. I
Yeah,
literally kept seeing the
that's
chat.
the same thing I'm doing. If I'm looking on the side right here, man, I'm looking to the chat too as well, man. So yeah, I appreciate y'all boys. Hopefully next Yap Piece, we're gonna try and see how 1163 goes. It might be like the emergency stream thing we might do afterwards. So definitely stay tuned for that. In terms of streams coming up this week, we got Dotted on 214 dropping tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place and time. We're gonna be there for that, and then of course Thursday or Friday, whenever One Piece does drop. So look forward to that. Again, I appreciate y'all boys coming through. W stream, great time, and we will catch y'all in the next one. Take care.